Chapter 9. Deep breath talking to boys. Restorative justice may be promising, but it's still an after-the-fact solution. Until young people, girls as well as boys, are better educated about gender socialization, sexual consent, ethical engagement, mature relationships, and diverse orientations, we will be stuck in damage control mode. Such lessons ought to be actively integrated into school curricula, taught in, though also beyond, human development courses, which we colloquially, if too narrowly, call sex education. Instilling basic values of citizenship is, after all, part of the job of educational institutions. Yet, realistically, only 24 states and the District of Columbia currently mandate sex education, and only 10 require that it be medically accurate. You remember that health teacher from the movie Mean Girls, the one who warns, you're going to want to take off your clothes and touch each other. But if you do touch each other, you will get chlamydia, and die. Well, right this minute, American students are learning that HIV can be spread through sweat or tears, that women who have sex before marriage are like chewed pieces of gum or used pieces of tape or cups full of spit, i.e., no one will want them, that boys should seek out good girls, who say no to sex, that condoms are useless against HIV a third of the time, that the pill has an 80% failure rate, that abortion causes cancer. I fear for those young people, I do, and for good reason. Despite a federal investment in abstinence-only education to date of over $2 billion, and counting, teenagers exposed to its lessons have been found to neither significantly delay intercourse compared to others nor have fewer partners. They do, however, have higher rates of pregnancy and STDs. Equally concerning, while pleasure-based sexuality education that includes practicing refusal skills has been found to reduce rates of assault, abstinence-only programs have not. Unfortunately, so-called comprehensive sex ed is not necessarily much better, focused solely on averting disaster, avoiding pregnancy and preventing disease. Fewer than half of high schools and only a fifth of middle schools teach all of the 16 topics the Centers for Disease Control considers to be essential, such as creating and sustaining respectful relationships, understanding the influence of media, peers, and family, and developing communication and sexual decision-making skills. Note that list does not include understanding consent. Only 10 states require that, if taught at all, sex education include any discussion of the issue. One of them is California, but in my local high school that has meant a single class period conducted in 9th grade by an outside educator. When I asked a group of my daughter's friends about its content a year later, none could remember any specifics. We have arrived at this precarious state because the forces that want to ban positive, thorough sexuality education, among them parents who place ideology over their children's health, are typically more vocal than its supporters. That may reflect, in part, an ambivalence even among progressives, a lingering belief that talking to teenagers about sex gives them license to engage, and, conversely, that if we avoid the topic, they will somehow not find out about it. That, it should be obvious by now, is a myth. Decades of research have made clear that talking to children about sex does not reduce the age at which they start. Our teens are in urgent need of high-quality human development courses. Until those exist, relying on school sex education is a risky bet. And that means unless caring adults step up, parents, physicians, youth advocates, faith leaders, coaches, the default educator will be the media. It is impossible for me to believe that we would be so cavalier, so indifferent to any other aspect of children's development that was so integral to their safety, futures, and well-being. After nearly a decade of reporting on teenagers and sex, if I know anything for sure, it's that parents just have to get over it. I know it's awkward. I know it's excruciating. I know it's unclear how to begin. You may have never even been able to have such conversations with your own spouse or partner. I get that. But this is your chance to do better. Discomfort and embarrassment are not excuses to opt out of parenting. Quick tip: talk during physical activity. Or, even better, in the car, you don't need to look at each other, plus they can't escape. Despite their eye-rolling, ear-plugging, and other superficial resistance, teenagers consistently say that they do want such information from parents, and that they benefit from it. I know from experience that's true. Boys often told me that our conversations had dramatic, ongoing, sometimes therapeutic impact, and I was a total stranger. So, rather than fixating on how discussing physical and emotional intimacy makes you, and your son, want to sink into the earth, consider the opportunity it creates for a closer relationship, to show him that you are genuinely there for him, to display openness, strength, and perseverance in the face of messy realities. How, after all, will he be able to have those challenging conversations as an adult if you don't pave the way now? In that spirit, here are a few thoughts to get you started. It's not the talk. Just as a single talk about table manners wouldn't make your son polite, a single discussion about intimacy won't ensure good sexual etiquette, particularly since, for parents of sons, the average length of such talks is 10 minutes. Parents need to have habitual, brief, often casual conversations that increase in complexity as children grow older. By now it should be abundantly clear that the content of those chats has to range beyond anatomy, reproduction, contraception, and disease protection to encompass what it means to be, and to have, a caring, respectful sexual and romantic partner. An article you happen to read on hookup culture, or the latest swipe apps, or teens sharing nudes can be great discussion fodder. Ask him how it relates to his friend group, what pressures he thinks guys and girls feel in various situations. What are the roles of privacy, vulnerability, intimacy? Whose needs are prioritized? What does coercion or pressure look like? Consent is crucial. Most of us adults did not grow up with the current, yes means yes, standard, some of us even predate, no means no. If you find the rules confusing, educate yourself first, so you understand that consent should be affirmative, silence is not consent, knowing, a person cannot consent while asleep, involuntarily restrained, or incapacitated by drugs or alcohol, ongoing, saying yes to one activity does not imply consent to another, nor does having done something in the past grant permission in the present, revocable, you must stop instantly when it is withdrawn, freely given, not coerced, won over, or manipulated, pushing someone's head down is not consent. If you aren't crystal clear with your son about all of this, you are putting both him and his future partners at risk of being assaulted, at risk of assaulting, at risk of not understanding what he has done until it is too late, and maybe not even then. Boys, specifically, should be warned that they are prone to overestimating female interest and enthusiasm for sexual activity, all the more so if they have been drinking. They should know that consent applies to digital images, too. If you receive a nude photo, you may not show it around, forward it, or post it without the permission of the person depicted, and if that person happens to be under 18, possession or distribution of the photo may, even if consensual, be in violation of child pornography laws. If your son does commit sexual misconduct, he should know that because you love him, you will hold him accountable. While you can support your boy's learning and growth, you cannot enable his denial, deflection, or avoidance of taking full responsibility for his behavior. Today's generation should also be reminded that consent has to be obtained in person, not via text or social media. What's more, it's a two-way street. Boys, too, must voluntarily agree to physical intimacy, either verbally or through body language, though recall that erections do not equal consent, and should be subject to neither manipulation nor pressure, whether from girls or other guys. They, too, have the right to say no to unwanted advances. Parents can help their sons strategize on how to do so if they fear social backlash. And you can never say too many times that assault or molestation, whether by a male or female, a peer or an adult, is never the victim's fault. But sex is not just about consent. Consent is imperative, but it is a baseline. As health educator Shafia Zaloom says, consent is what makes sex legal, but it doesn't make sex ethical, and it doesn't make sex good. Let's say a teenager consensually hooks up with his girlfriend's best friend. Criminal? No. Principled? Likely not. Zaloom, a high school teacher whose own book contains multiple real-life scenarios that adults can work through with teens, tells her students that ethical sex means taking into account the well-being of not only the participants, but others who might be affected by their actions. Good sex is not only legal and ethical, but pleasurable and mutually satisfying. For that to be the case, boys must have an accurate conception of female bodies and sexual response. If you can say the word clitoris out loud to your son, by all means go for it. If you'd rather poke yourself in the eye with a fork, and many of us would, make sure to provide ample, accurate educational resources, books, websites, on informed, progressive sexuality. For ideas, check out my website. Along with sexual information, young people, of all genders, say they want more insight from their parents about emotional intimacy, how to begin a relationship, establish mature love, how to avoid being hurt, or perhaps how to accept the potential for growth in pain, how to manage conflict, and how to deal with breakups. You needn't have had unmitigated success in your own romantic life to drop some wisdom on all of that. We fuss a lot about the sex talk, says Richard Weisbord, the director of Making Caring Common. We do not fuss about a far more important talk, which is, how do we talk to our children about the courage and subtlety and discipline and tenderness and tough-mindedness that it really takes to love someone else. In reality, according to Andrew Smiler, a psychologist specializing in adolescent male behavior, most guys prefer physical intimacy with someone they know, trust, and with whom they feel comfortable. In contrast to the always down for it image, Smiler found in his surveys of heterosexual high school students that boys' greatest motivator for pursuing sex was not physical, but emotional, expressing love or a desire to form a closer relationship with a girl. Guys say they appreciate having a dating partner, he told me. That special person who they know will have their backs no matter what, someone they can talk to about anything, especially the things they feel are off limits with their male friends. They don't get that with a one-night stand or random hookups. As adults, whether parents or teachers or professionals, we might ask boys what kind of sexual experience they want, he continued. Not just whether they are looking to have an orgasm, but about the context and quality of that orgasm. If we're willing to be more vulgar and pointed, we might even ask, do you want a partner who's more than just someone to masturbate into? And it isn't only about intercourse. By continually equating sexually active to penis-vagina intercourse, we allow kids to label other acts, including manual, oral, and anal sex, as not sex, and so potentially not subject to the same rules. That opens the door to risky behavior and disrespect. It also turns sex into a race to a goal rather than a pool of experiences involving affection, warmth, closeness, desire, touch, arousal, intimacy. You might ask a teen to consider who is truly the more sexually experienced person, someone who has kissed a partner for 3 hours, experimenting with sensuality and communication, or a guy who gets wasted at a party and hooks up with a random girl in order to punch his V card before college. Hint, it's not the latter. Amy Shallot, a sociologist who studies adolescent sexuality, defines true sexual autonomy as learning to assert wants, set limits, and behave responsibly in sexual encounters. The best way to do that is to move slowly, with awareness and trust in a partner. Broadening the view of sex also means being LGBTQ+ inclusive. Straight kids need to understand other sexualities to avoid demonizing or marginalizing them. If your son does identify as gay or bisexual, your family's acceptance, obviously, is vital, but not enough. As with any child, you still have to express your values around sexuality, intimacy, and relationships. You need to provide accurate information and resources on engaging in a variety of partnered practices, including anal sex, safely and enjoyably. If you don't, you are putting him in harm's way. It's critical to talk about PrEP, a daily pill that can prevent HIV in high-risk individuals, as well as other disease protection. And if you'd rather your 16-year-old didn't claim to be 18 and go on Grindr behind your back, you may need to brainstorm about ways he can meet boys closer to his age, especially in high school or middle school, so that he has the same opportunities for love and appropriate sexual exploration as his straight peers. It's not even just about sex. As I said at the outset of this book, many parents and advocates work tirelessly to combat the messages girls receive from the youngest ages that reduce them to their bodies or demand the illusion of perpetual sexual availability. Back when my daughter was tiny, for example, I would point to Disney heroines whose eyes were larger than their wrists. Are your eyes bigger than your wrists? And look at her waist. Where do you think she keeps her uterus? In her purse. Honestly. I doubt I would have done that with a son. Yet, boys grow up in the same distorted, commodified, misogynist culture as girls. The concern over porn, while valid, can distract from the damaging impact of mainstream entertainment. Remember that, unchecked, media consumption of any kind is associated with greater tolerance for sexual harassment, belief in rape myths, early sexual initiation, sexual risk-taking, a greater number of partners, and stereotyping of women. Boys, too, then, need a strong counternarrative to develop grounded, realistic perspectives on women, men, sex, and love. Frankly, without it there is a chance that they won't see women as fully human, and that they will view sex as something a female partner does for them and that they do to her. Start young, by offering little boys books, films, and other media featuring complex female protagonists. Take notice when women are absent or misrepresented on screen or the playing field. Intervene even if it annoys guys, to question how the media they consume presents gender roles, bodies, men's as well as women's, race, sex, is it valued or cheapened? Is there respect? Coercion? Consent? Andrew Smiler suggests that while watching TV together, parents could periodically ask, would that really happen in real life? What is missing? Or, who is missing? That works whether characters are engaging in romantic behavior that could also be read as stalking, moving directly from kissing to intercourse in the span of 15 seconds, or hooking up for the first time without any fumbling or awkwardness. One friend of mine told me she encourages her son to play his music in the car, but when she hears lyrics that are demeaning toward women or glorify violence or drugs, she turns it off and insists they talk about it. We've never made it through more than about 20 seconds of a song, she said wryly. Promote the healthy and name the toxic. Mothers and fathers, and any other adults in a guy's life, need to challenge the unwritten rules of male socialization, the forging of masculinity through unexamined entitlement, emotional suppression, aggression, and hostility toward the feminine. Boys wouldn't stay in that man box if they did not reap some reward, but it is ultimately a trap, sabotaging authenticity, increasing isolation, encouraging depression, stoking rage, and promoting violence against both others and themselves. Close relationships, whether platonic or romantic, have been found to be the #1 key to personal well-being, and emotional literacy, the ability to understand and express feelings, is the key to those close relationships. Yet male conditioning renders boys numb. By adulthood, the majority of men have difficulty not only expressing but identifying their emotions. The formal term for that is alexithymia. Recall that mothers use richer emotional language with infant daughters than with their sons, and fathers an impoverished vocabulary regardless of a child's gender. That's something that isn't so hard to change. Identifying boys' emotions for them when they are small. You seem scared. You seem sad. What are you feeling? What's going on right now? Is a start. Fathers, by the way, are chiefs of the gender police. Boys as young as 4 are keenly aware of dad's judgment, rejecting girl toys, even something as innocuous as miniature dishes, for fear he would think playing with them was bad. If they are willing to stretch beyond, way beyond, the way they themselves were fathered, then dads, or other adult male mentors, can make a tremendous difference in sons' approach to masculinity, sex, and love. Obviously, they can lead by example, and will, whether they intend to or not, modeling the importance of affection, emotional expression, and healthy connection. But dads also play a vital role in validating boys' feelings, listening with empathy, praising a son who is himself being compassionate or caretaking. Rather than thinking about how to toughen up a boy, a phrase, along with man up, and the like, that should be immediately expunged from your vocabulary. Ask yourself what it might mean to raise a man who is resilient, who can express his feelings in a way that is respectful to himself and others as well as listen in return. To that end, among other things, fathers need to advise boys in ways beyond aggression or anger to handle conflict. As for intimate relationships, dads can offer guidance on personal integrity, establishing and respecting sexual boundaries, mutuality, caring, pleasure. They may want to share their own evolution on some of these topics, including past mistakes and regrets. Let me reiterate, no need to be perfect, to have all the answers, or even to feel totally comfortable discussing the questions. As one college sophomore told me, in high school, it would have made all the difference in the world to have my dad talk to me about this, even though my mom did a really good job. Because subconsciously, as a teen guy, she was still a woman telling me these things, and I really needed my dad to be like, Noah, this is real. And because he didn't have those kinds of conversations with me, it instilled a pattern of me not having them with my friends or my partners. And I want to be having these conversations. Mothers are more likely to talk with their sons about intimacy, but not as deeply or as broadly as they do with their daughters. Moms can also offer a more nuanced vision of female sexuality and explain why girls might act against their own best interests by, say, hooking up with a guy known to be a jerk, or feeling obliged to satisfy a boy. Again, without going into excessive detail, you might consider sharing some of your own past experience, including with trauma. Women who have been sexually assaulted often feel compelled to tell their girls, even as they wrestle with when or how. But among the boys I met, hearing from a mother that she had been harmed had a life-altering impact. Obviously, that personal connection shouldn't be necessary to inspire compassion, but for teenagers, who are still relatively concrete thinkers, knowing someone in your innermost circle was affected makes an issue real. It is also a chance for moms to model resilience. A college freshman, one of just 3 guys in his school's anti-assault advocacy group, recalled, "When I was 17, my mom told me about times in college when she was drunk and men took advantage of her. I was so shocked. It was like this is happening to people I care about, people I love. That was when I realized how common it was. I will never forget that." I would not assume, by the way, that guys know how widespread sexual misconduct, harassment, assault, and other violence against women is, at least not if adult consciousness is any measure. A nationally representative survey of 1,147 men aged 18 to 55 conducted by Glamour and GQ in April 2018, a full 6 months after the Harvey Weinstein scandal broke, found that over half had either never heard of #MeToo or knew so little about it that they couldn't explain what it was. When, during the confirmation hearings of Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, I asked my interview subjects how many conversations they'd had with a parent about the sexual assault allegations by Christine Blasey Ford, the typical answer was none. Mothers and fathers should discuss the broad cultural impact of so-called toxic masculinity with children of all genders. The latest news stories, and there is always something, should be regular dinner table conversation, especially when they involve high school or college students. Resist reductive characterizations of good guys, or monsters. Those exist, but the true hard work is in the in-between. Humanize female victims. Read your son The Powerful Impact Statement by Chanel Miller, who was assaulted by Brock Turner, or the eloquent response in the Harvard Crimson by women who had been part of the men's soccer team's scouting report. Talk about the precise rates of sexual harassment young women face in school hallways or on the street. Help them understand how all those comments guys make, large and small, including the hilarious ones, combined with popular culture and other forces, inure them to the mistreatment of women. Have your sons and daughters listen to the apology Dan Harmon, creator of the TV shows Community and Rick and Morty, offered on his podcast to the colleague he sexually harassed for years. She called it a master class in how to apologize. The point is not to shame boys but to raise awareness of how gender dynamics, mediated by race, class, sexuality, and other characteristics, function, and how they could function much better. You simply must, talk about porn. The ubiquity of internet porn in itself means parents no longer have the luxury of squeamishness. We can no longer afford to not talk honestly to our children, especially our boys, about sex. The potential risk to them and to their partners is just too great. Nor do I think it's enough to dismiss porn as not realistic, or an adult fantasy, that begs questions of what, exactly, is unrealistic about it and why its fantasies so frequently eroticize male aggression and female submission. Instead, as I said earlier, remind your son that curiosity about sex as well as masturbation are absolutely natural, but that porn's perspective is limited and distorted, especially for someone without much, or any, real-life context. The bodies and behaviors depicted are not typical. Much of its activity would not, in truth, be pleasurable, especially for women. The ones in the videos are paid to pretend to enjoy what's happening and, by the way, most are left broke and unemployed within a few months. Porn can create false expectations, lower guys' satisfaction in sex and with their partners, hijack teens' sexual imaginations, eroticize gender inequality and racism. Lately, when speaking to groups of parents, mothers have asked me if I can recommend good porn they can offer their sons. Although you can find a variety of alternative content behind paywalls, I personally think curating your boys' porn is over the line. However, it wouldn't hurt to reiterate Emily Nagoski's take earlier in this book, the idea of masturbating in a variety of contexts, using a variety of stimuli to avoid conditioning your sexual response to porn, along with engaging in those overarching discussions about female objectification in the media and ensuring there are progressive sex ed resources readily available in the home. In a world of fake news, media literacy, including deconstructing pornography, has value beyond sex and relationships. It is a matter of personal agency, preserving our ability to think, act, and live on our own terms. If they have that solid relationship, consider the sleepover. The typical response to teenage sex in the United States is "not under my roof." But in a cross-cultural comparison of families in the US and the Netherlands, Amy Shalit found that by normalizing teen sexuality, Dutch parents were able to exert more control over their children's behavior. That's not to say it's a free-for-all over there. Although 2/3 of Dutch teens ages 15 to 17 with a steady boy or girlfriend report that the person was welcome to spend the night in their bedrooms, the Dutch actively discourage promiscuity in their children, teaching that sex should emerge from a loving relationship. Negotiating the ground rules for those sleepovers, while admittedly cringy, provides parents another opportunity to exercise influence, reinforce values, and emphasize the need for protection. Of course, the Dutch work from an advantage. Their children begin formal sex education at age 4 with discussions of basic body awareness, thinking about what feels good and what does not, as well as on the importance of respect for self and others in relation to family or friends. Over the years, along with curricula on anatomy, reproduction, disease prevention, contraception, and abortion, the Dutch openly address masturbation, oral sex, homosexuality, orgasm. They also stress the positive aspects of sex and relationships. The results, even when controlling for demographic differences, Dutch teens become sexually active later than Americans, have fewer partners, are more likely to use contraception, and are less likely to say their encounters were driven by hormones. They are more likely to say their early sexual activity took place in loving, respectful relationships in which they communicated openly with their partners about what felt good and what didn't, about what acts they wanted to engage in and what kind of protection they would need. 4 out of 5 Dutch youth in one study said that their first sexual experiences were well-timed, within their control, and fun. 86% of girls and 93% of boys agreed that they and their partner, both were equally eager to have it. Compare that to the United States, where 2/3 of sexually experienced teenagers said they wished they had waited longer to have intercourse for the first time. Decline admission to Dick School. Friendship is sweet. Brotherhood is sustaining. But pay attention to the tenor of those all-male groups. Under certain circumstances, they can feed aggression, antipathy toward women, and assault. When looking at colleges, inquire about options, aside from Greek life, for nighttime and weekend socializing. Boys who are thinking of joining fraternities should do their due diligence on various houses' reputations, talking not only to current members, but to unaffiliated students on campus, including girls who've attended their parties. Have student publications or local news outlets revealed incidents of sexual misconduct, racial slurs, hazing, hazardous drinking? Is sexual conquest prioritized over female dignity? A freshman at a Southern California college told me he dropped out of his frat after his pledge class was paired with a lower-tier sorority, so that, unbeknownst to the girls, the guys could practice their hookup technique before meeting more desirable prospects. What programming has been put in place to educate about consent, irresponsible drinking, gender inequity, positive sexuality? How are parties made safe and comfortable for everyone, including students of color, LGBTQ+ students, and women, of any ethnicity or orientation? These are not trivial concerns. As I previously said, fraternity members are more likely than other boys to commit assault, as much as 3 times more likely, according to some research. It's unclear whether a given fraternity's disregard for women and greater tolerance for sexual misconduct is itself enough to transform otherwise nonviolent young men. What does seem to be true, though, is that high school boys who are interested in going Greek already score higher than others on proclivities for sexual aggression, as well as belief in certain rape myths, such as that assault only involves physical violence or that inebriation is a reasonable excuse for male misconduct. Fraternity life validates those tendencies, makes them acceptable. That's an argument not only for ongoing, mandatory educational interventions in frat houses, but for programming geared toward boys long before college. Athletes, too, as noted earlier, are overrepresented in sexual misconduct cases. Although they make up just 4% of students in college, they are involved in 19% of assaults. Official players are not the only culprits. More than half of both intercollegiate and recreational athletes in a 2016 survey admitted to coercing a woman into sexual activity, defined as any unwanted oral, vaginal, or anal penetration as a result of verbal or physical pressure, including rape. Teams that celebrate tribalism, aggression, and male dominance over personal integrity, as well, of course, as those that practice any form of hazing, should raise a red flag, both in terms of a young man's participation and fans' support. Athletes, who tend to hold a vaunted position in school communities, also too often know that they can act with impunity and will be protected from consequences by athletic departments, school administrations, even, potentially, by the NCAA. That must stop. Coaches, who commonly act as mentors and surrogate fathers, not to mention gatekeepers to college recruitment, are in exceptional positions of influence, especially in high schools where male athletes can dictate the social culture. They should have zero tolerance for degrading talk about women, including song lyrics blaring in the gym, or sexual braggadocio, zero tolerance for sexual misconduct, zero tolerance for calling boys, teammates or the opposition, derogatory names or teasing them about their anatomy or sexual prowess. Guys, as I've said, will often go to great lengths to convince themselves they don't need to intervene in a troubling situation, whether it's some version of so-called locker room talk, sexual harassment, or potential assault. They rationalize. They minimize. They become passive. They convince themselves they can't actually make a difference. They laugh. They join in to avoid becoming victims themselves. Stepping up is hard and risky, especially if you are less socially powerful. Strength of character can paradoxically be mocked as weak. Boys are just trying to survive, according to educator Karis Dennison, to feel safe, seen, and significant. And, if they can do that through displays of dominance and aggression, then of course that's what they're going to do. Coaches can shatter the complicity of silence, making it clear that objectifying women is not a masculine rite of passage. Consider a year-long study of 2,000 high school athletes that found considerably reduced rates of dating violence and support for other boys' abusive behavior among those who participated in short, weekly coach-led discussions about personal responsibility, respectful behavior, relationship abuse, insulting language, and consent. That's encouraging. All male enclaves may be notorious as crucibles of sexism, but they could also become crucibles of change. Over the last several years, the #MeToo movement has laid bare sexual misconduct, male privilege, and toxic masculinity across every sector of society. That has sparked a much-needed reckoning. It should also provide parents of boys, and boys themselves, unprecedented motivation to transform the rules of male psychological development and sexuality. That is not an easy task, but it is an exciting one, raising boys to be compassionate and egalitarian, respectful of others' boundaries, capable of connection, vulnerability, honest communication, emotional expression, and love, able to develop and sustain authentic relationships, able to be happier and more fulfilled, able to see women as true peers in the classroom, boardroom, and bedroom. Raising our boys to be the men we know they can become. Acknowledgements. Many thanks to Jennifer Barth, Suzanne Gluck, Karis Dennison, Cindy Pierce, Richard Weisbord, Ashanti Branch, Debbie Herbenek, Bryant Paul, Paul Wright, Rosalind Wiseman, Allison Stevens, Kathleen Brownbeck, Brian O'Connor, Yesenia Gorbia, Rebecca Milliman, Laura Bazelon, Brandon Nicholson, Sabina McMahon, Tony Nguyen, Deborah Rothman, Simone Marine, Rachel Simmons, D. Watkins, Aaron Redica, Lori Abraham, Raha Nadif, Douglas McGray, Pamela Paul, Judith Warner, Sarah Ross, Muriel Vernon, Laura Alberti. Tom Davey, Rachel Hannibut, Rebecca Mosley, Mary Dunwold, Virginia Witt, Thordis Elva, Leah Fessler, Himanshu Agrawa, Heather Larson, Brandon Rain, Barbara McDonald, Tom Stranger, Diane Espaldon, Dan Wilson, Ina Park, Matt Dixon, Danny Sager, Brian McCarthy, Julia Sweeney, Michael Bloom, Mulan Sweeney Bloom, Ruth Halpern, Eva Eilenberg, Cornelia Loff, Iolette Waldman, Sylvia Brownrigg, Rachel Silvers, Sherry Washburn, Neil Carlin, Barbara Swayman, Leslie Orenstein, Julie Ann Orenstein, Lucy Orenstein, Debbie Orenstein, and Ari Orenstein. To all the boys who spoke to me for this book, I owe you a huge debt of gratitude. Whether your story is in these pages or not, I could not have written without your honesty, insight, and trust. Special thanks to advisors Megan Ruppel, Sam Thompson, and Evelyn Wong, and to my absolutely indispensable interns, Brock Coiler, Maya Guzdar, Will Hoppen, Jacob Finkelman, and Catherine Reber. To Stephen and Daisy, all my love and boundless gratitude for your support, faith, tolerance, cheerleading, and cuisine that reigns supreme. Bibliography. Abby, Antonia. Alcohol's Role in Sexual Violence Perpetration, Theoretical Explanations, Existing Evidence, and Future Directions. Drug and Alcohol Review 30, No. 5, 2011, 481-89. Abby, Antonia, A. Monique Clinton Sherrod, Pam McCausland, et al. The Relationship Between the Quantity of Alcohol Consumed and the Severity of Sexual Assaults Committed by College Men. Journal of Interpersonal Violence 18, No. 7, 2003, 813-33. Abby, Antonia, Tina Zavotsky, Philip O. Buck, et al. Alcohol and Sexual Assault. Alcohol Research and Health 25, No. 1, 2001, 43-51. Allison, Rachel, and Barbara J. Risman. A Double Standard for Hooking Up, How Far Have We Come Toward Gender Equality? Social Science Research 42, No. 5, 2013, 1191-206. It goes hand in hand with the parties, race, class, and residence in college student negotiations of hooking up. Sociological Perspectives 57, No. 1, 2014, 102-23. American Psychological Association, Boys and Men Guidelines Group. Guidelines for Psychological Practice with Boys and Men. Washington, D.C., American Psychological Association, 2018. Armstrong, Elizabeth A., and Laura T. Hamilton. Paying for the Party, How College Maintains Inequality. Cambridge, M.A., Harvard University Press, 2015. Armstrong, Elizabeth A., Paula England, and Allison C. K. Fogarty. Accounting for Women's Orgasm and Sexual Enjoyment in College Hookups and Relationships. American Sociological Review 77, 2012, 435-62. Armstrong, Elizabeth A., Laura T. Hamilton, and Paula England. Is Hooking Up Bad for Young Women? Contexts 9, No. 3, 2010, 22-27. Armstrong, Elizabeth, and Brian Sweeney. Sexual Assault on Campus, a Multi-Level, Integrative Approach to Party Rape. Social Problems 53, No. 4, 2006, 483-99. Aubrey, Jennifer Stevens, and Cynthia Frisbee. Sexual Objectification in Music Videos, a Content Analysis Comparing Gender and Genre. Mass Communication and Society 14, 2011, 475-501. Bargan, Catherine, Alan Edwards, Matthew Hartman, et al. Serving Crime Victims Through Restorative Justice, a Resource Guide for Leaders and Practitioners. Alberta, Canada, Alberta Restorative Justice Association, 2018. Bauer, Amy, and Julie A. Gazmararian. Masculine Gender Role Stress and Violence, a Literature Review and Future Directions. Aggression and Violent Behavior 24, 2015, 107-112. Beck, Victoria Simpson, Stephanie Boyes, Christopher Rose, et al. Violence Against Women in Video Games, a Prequel or Sequel to Rape Myth Acceptance. Journal of Interpersonal Violence 27, No. 15, 2012, 3016-31. Becker, Sarah, and Justine Tinkler. Me Getting Plastered and Her Provoking My Eyes, Young People's Attribution of Blame for Sexual Aggression in Public Drinking Spaces. Feminist Criminology 10, Number 3, 2015, 235-58. Bedera, Nicole. Moaning and Eye Contact, College Men's Negotiations of Sexual Consent in Theory and in Practice. Sokarksiv, August 12, 2017. Bedera, Nicole, and William Rothwell. Emotional Intimacy and Sex, Exploring Sources of Men's Sexual Pleasure in Hookups and Romantic Relationships. Montreal, American Sociological Association Annual Conference, August 2017. Baig, Laurent, Elisa Sarda, Douglas A. Gentile, et al. Video Games Exposure and Sexism in a Representative Sample of Adolescents. Frontiers in Psychology 8, 2017, 466. Bersamin, Melina M., Beth Bordeaux, Deborah A. Fisher, et al. Television Use, Sexual Behavior, and Relationship Status at Last Oral Sex and Vaginal Intercourse. Sexuality and Culture 14, 2010, 157-68. Bloom, Robert W., Kristen M. Mari, and Caroline Moreau. It Begins at 10, How Gender Expectations Shape Early Adolescence Around the World. Journal of Adolescent Health 61, Number 4, 2017, S3-S4. Bonino, Silvia Cirano, Emanuela Ribaglietti, et al. Use of Pornography and Self-Reported Engagement in Sexual Violence Among Adolescents. European Journal of Developmental Psychology 3, 2006, 265-88. Boswell, A. Ayres, and Joan Z. Spade. Fraternities and Collegiate Rape Culture, Why Are Some Fraternities More Dangerous Places for Women? Gender and Society 10, Number 2, 1996, 133-47. Braun Corville, Deborah, and Mary Rojas. Exposure to Sexually Explicit Web Sites and Adolescent Sexual Attitudes and Behaviors. Journal of Adolescent Health 45, Number 2, 2009, 156-62. Brody, Leslie R. The Socialization of Gender Differences in Emotional Expression, Display Rules, Infant Temperament, and Differentiation. In Gender and Emotion, Social Psychological Perspectives, edited by Agneta Fisher. Cambridge University Press, 2000, 24-47. Bridges, Anna, Ching F. Sun, Matthew B. Azel, et al. Sexual Scripts and the Sexual Behavior of Men and Women Who Use Pornography. Sexualization, Media, and Society 2, Number 4, 2016. Brooks, Tess, Cecilia Lang Rhee, Helen Yuan, et al. Campus Sexual Assault, Conflicting Expectations and Beliefs. Cambridge, M.A., Confi, 2016. Brozzi, Matthew, John D. Faubert, R. Sean Bannon, et al. Effects of Women's Pornography Use on Bystander Intervention in a Sexual Assault Situation and Rape Myth Acceptance. Oracle, the Research Journal of the Association of Fraternity, Sorority Advisors 6, Number 2, 2011, 26-35. Brown, Jane D. Mass Media Influences on Sexuality. Journal of Sex Research 39, Number 1, 2002, 42-45. Brown, Jane D., and Kelly L. Lengel. X-rated, Sexual Attitudes and Behaviors Associated with U.S. Early Adolescents' Exposure to Sexually Explicit Media. Communication Research 36, Number 1, 2009, 129-51. Brown, Jane D., Kelly L. Lengel, Carol Pardon, et al. Sexy Media Matter, Exposure to Sexual Content in Music, Movies, Television, and Magazines Predicts Black and White Adolescents' Sexual Behavior. Pediatrics 117, Number 4, 2006, 1018-27. Brugman, Margaret, Sandra L. Karen, and Janie Raidmakers. Emerging Adolescent Sexuality, A Comparison of American and Dutch College Women's Experiences. International Journal of Sexual Health 22, Number 1, 2010, 32-46. Cantor, David, Bonnie Fisher, Susan Chibnall, et al. Report on the AAU Campus Climate Survey on Sexual Assault and Sexual Misconduct. Washington, D.C., Association of American Universities, 2015. Carey, Kate, Sarah Durney, Robin Shepardson, et al. Incapacitated and forcible rape of college women, prevalence across the first year. Journal of Adolescent Health 56, 2015, 678-80. Carr, Joetta L., and Karen M. Van Duysen. Risk Factors for Male Sexual Aggression on College Campuses. Journal of Family Violence 19, No. 5, 2004, 279-89. Carroll, Jason S., Laura M. Padilla Walker, Larry J. Nelson, et al. Generation XXX, Pornography Acceptance and Use Among Emerging Adults. Journal of Adolescent Research 23, 2008, 6-30. Chen, Nicole. Hooked on Race, An Investigation of the Racialized Hookup Experiences of White, Asian, and Black College Women. Unpublished manuscript, University of Michigan, 2014. Cheng, Shulan, Ryan C. McDermott, Y. Joel Wong, et al. Drive for Muscularity in Asian American Men, Sociocultural and Racial, Ethnic Factors as Correlates. Psychology of Men and Masculinity 17, No. 3, 2016, 215-27. Cherney, Isabel D., and Jessica Dempsey. Young Children's Classification, Stereotyping and Play Behavior for Gender-Neutral and Ambiguous Toys. Educational Psychology 30, No. 6, 2010, 651-69. Condary, John, and Sandra Condary. Sex Differences, A Study of the Eye of the Beholder. Child Development 47, No. 3, 1976, 812-19. Cooper, Al. Sexuality and the Internet Surfing into the New Millennium. Cyberpsychology and Behavior 1, No. 2, 2009. Davies, Paul, Stephen J. Spencer, Diane M. Quinn, et al. Consuming Images, How Television Commercials that Elicit Stereotype Threat Can Restrain Women Academically and Professionally. Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin 28, No. 12, 2002, 1615-28. Davis, Kelly Q. The Influence of Alcohol Expectancies and Intoxication on Men's Aggressive Unprotected Sexual Intentions. Experimental and Clinical Psychopharmacology 18, No. 5, 2010, 418-28. Dill, Karen E., Brian P. Brown, and Michael A. Collins. Effects of Exposure to Sex-Stereotyped Video Game Characters on Tolerance of Sexual Harassment. Journal of Experimental Social Psychology 44, No. 5, 2008, 1402-08. Dill Shackleford, Karen E. How Fantasy Becomes Reality, Information and Entertainment Media in Everyday Life, Revised and Expanded. New York, Oxford University Press, 2016. Doob, Shanta, Robert Anda, Charles Whitfield, et al. Long-Term Consequences of Childhood Sexual Abuse by Gender a Victim. American Journal of Preventive Medicine 28, 2005, 430-38. Edwards, Sarah R., Catherine A. Bradshaw, and Berlin B. Hinch. Denying Rape but Endorsing Forceful Intercourse, Exploring Differences Among Responders. Violence and Gender 1, No. 4, 2014, 188-93. England, Paula, Emily Fitzgibbons Schaefer, and Allison C. K. Fogarty. Hooking Up and Forming Romantic Relationships on Today's College Campuses. In Gendered Society Reader, 3rd ed., edited by Michael S. Kimmel and Amy Aronson. New York, Oxford University Press, 2008. Isle, Karen, and Kelly Finnerty. The Portrayal of Sexual Intercourse on Television, How, Who, and with What Consequence. Mass Communication and Society 12, No. 2, 2009. Isle, Karen, and Dale Kunkel. The Effects of Sex in Television Drama Shows on Emerging Adults' Sexual Attitudes and Moral Judgments. Journal of Broadcasting and Electronic Media 52, No. 2, 2008, 161-81. Fisher, Deborah A. Douglas L. Hill, Joel W. Grube, et al. Televised Sexual Content and Parental Mediation, Influences on Adolescent Sexuality. Media Psychology 12, No. 2, 2009, 121-47. Fisher, Nicola L., and Aphrodite Pina. An Overview of the Literature on Female-Perpetrated Adult Male Sexual Victimization. Aggression and Violent Behavior 18, No. 1, 2013. Ford, Jesse. Describing Unwanted Sex with Women, How Heterosexual Men's Accounts Uphold Masculinity. Unpublished paper 2018. Going with the Flow, How College Men's Experiences of Unwanted Sex Are Produced by Gendered Interactional Pressures. Social Forces 96, No. 3, 2018, 1303-24. Ford, Jesse, and Paula England. Hookups, Sex, and Relationships at College. Contexts.com, December 22, 2014. Ford, Jesse, and Jose G. Soto Marquez. Sexual Assault Victimization Among Straight, Gay, Lesbian, and Bisexual College Students. Violence and Gender 3, No. 2, 2016, 107-15. Fortenberry, Dennis J., Vanessa Schick, Debbie Herbenik, et al. Sexual Behaviors and Condom Use at Last Vaginal Intercourse, a national sample of adolescents ages 14 to 17 years. Journal of Sexual Medicine 7, Supplement 5 2010, 305-14. Faubert, John D., Matthew W. Brozzi, and R. Sean Bannon. Pornography Viewing Among Fraternity Men, Effects on Bystander Intervention, Rape Myth Acceptance and Behavioral Intent to Commit Sexual Assault. Sexual Addiction and Compulsivity, The Journal of Treatment and Prevention 18, No. 4 2011, 212-31. Faubert, John D., Jonathan T. Newberry, and Jerry L. Tatum. Behavior Differences 7 months later, Effects of a Rape Prevention Program on First-Year Men Who Join Fraternities. NASPA Journal 44 2007, 728-49. French, Brianna H., Jasmine D. Tillman, and Dominique A. Malbranche. Sexual Coercion Context and Psychosocial Correlates Among Diverse Males. Psychology of Men and Masculinity 16, No. 1 2015, 42-53. Funk, Leah C., and Cherie D. Werhan. You're Such a Girl. The Psychological Drain of the Gender Role Harassment of Men. Sex Roles 65, No. 1-2 2011. Gallagher, Catherine E., and Dominic J. Parrott. What Accounts for Men's Hostile Attitudes Toward Women? The Influence of Hegemonic Male Role Norms and Masculine Gender Role Stress. Violence Against Women 17, No. 5 2011, 568-83. Gamble, Hillary. From Sexual Media to Unwanted Hookups, The Mediating Influence of College Students' Endorsement of Traditional Heterosexual Scripts, Sexual Self-Concept, and Perceived Peer Norms. Unpublished doctoral dissertation. Tucson, as, University of Arizona, 2016. Giordano, Peggy C., Monica A. Longmore, and Wendy D. Manning. Gender and the Meanings of Adolescent Romantic Relationships, A Focus on Boys. American Sociological Review 71, 2006, 260-87. Relationships in Adolescence. Annual Review of Sociology 29, 2003, 257-81. Halberstam, Jack. Trans**, A Quick and Quirky Account of Gender Variability. Berkeley, University of California Press, 2018. Hald, Gert Martin, Neil N. Malamuth, and Thais Lang. Pornography and Sexist Attitudes Among Heterosexuals. Journal of Communication 63, No. 4 2013, 638-60. Hammond, Wisdom Powell. Taking It Like a Man, Masculine Role Norms as Moderators of the Racial Discrimination Depressive Symptoms Association Among African American Men. American Journal of Public Health 102, Supplement 2 2012, S 232-41. Hansen, Susan, Rachel O'Byrne, and Mark Rapley. Young Heterosexual Men's Use of the Miscommunication Model in Explaining Acquaintance Rape. Sexuality Research and Social Policy 7 2010, 45-49. Heilman, Brian, Gary Barker, and Alexander Harrison. The Man Box, A Study on Being a Young Man in the US, UK, and Mexico. Washington, D.C., and London, Promundo US and Unilever, 2017. Herbenik, Debbie, Bryant Paul, Rana Gratis, et al. The 2016 National Survey of Porn Use, Relationships, and Sexual Socialization. Indiana University. Herbenik, Debbie, Michael Reese, Vanessa Schick, et al. Sexual Behavior in the United States, results from a national probability sample of men and women ages 14 to 94. Journal of Sexual Medicine 7, Supplement 5 2010, 255-65. Herman, Judith Lewis. Justice from the Victim's Perspective. Violence Against Women 11, No. 5, 2005, 571-602. Hirsch, Jennifer S., Seamus R. Kahn, Alexander Wambold, et al. Social Dimensions of Sexual Consent Among Cisgender Heterosexual College Students, Insights from Ethnographic Research. Journal of Adolescent Health 64, No. 1, 2019, 26-35. Holland, Megan M. Only Here for the Day, The Social Integration of Minority Students at a Majority White High School. Sociology of Education 85, No. 2, 2012, 101-20. Hallman, Amanda, and Jody Koenig-Kellas. Say Something Instead of Nothing, Adolescents' Perceptions of Memorable Conversations About Sex-Related Topics with Their Parents. Communication Monographs 85, No. 3, 2018, 357-79. Horvath, Miranda H., Peter Hegarty, Susanna Tyler, et al. Lights On at the End of the Party, or Lads Mag's Mainstreaming Dangerous Sexism. British Journal of Psychology 103, No. 4 2012. Hust, Stacey J. T., Emily Garrigues Merritt, Chunbo Ren, et al. Establishing and Adhering to Sexual Consent, the Association Between Reading Magazines and College Students' Sexual Consent Negotiation. Journal of Sex Research 51, No. 3, 2014, 280-90. Isa Landa, Simone. Gender, Race, and Justifications for Group Exclusion, Urban Black Students Bused to Affluent Suburban Schools, Sociology of Education 86, No. 3, 2013, 218-33. Jacques Tiora, Angela, Antonia Abbey, Michelle R. Parkhill, et al. Why do some men misperceive women's sexual intentions more frequently than others do? An application of the confluence model. Personality and Social Psychology Bulletin 33, No. 11, 2007, 1467-80. Kessel, Christine Elizabeth. Sexual Insistence and Disliked Sexual Activities in Young Adulthood, Differences by Gender and Relationship Characteristics. Perspectives on Sexual and Reproductive Health 41, No. 1, 2009, 33-39. Kalish, Rachel. Masculinities and Hooking Up, Sexual Decision-Making at College. Culture, Society and Masculinities 5, No. 2, 2013, 147-65. Kaplan, Margot. Restorative Justice and Campus Sexual Misconduct. Temple Law Review 89, No. 4, 2017, 701-45. Karakis, Emily N., and Ronald F. Levant. Is normative male alexithymia associated with relationship satisfaction, fear of intimacy and communication quality among men in relationships? Journal of Men's Studies 20, No. 3, 2012, 179-86. Karp, David R. The Little Book of Restorative Justice for Colleges and Universities, Repairing Harm and Rebuilding Trust in Response to Student Misconduct. New York, Good Books, 2015. Karp, David R., and Casey Sachs. Student Conduct, Restorative Justice, and Student Development, Findings from the STAR Project, a Student Accountability and Restorative Research Project. Contemporary Justice Review 17, No. 2, 2014, 154-72. Kendall, Christopher N. Educating Gay Male Youth, Since When is Pornography a Path Self-Respect? Journal of Homosexuality 47, No. 3-4, 2004, 83-128. Kahn, Seamus R., Jennifer S. Hirsch, Alexander Wambold, et al. I Didn't Want to Be That Girl, The Social Risks of Labeling, Telling, and Reporting Sexual Assault. Sociological Science 5, No. 19. Kim, Jana, C. Lynn Sorsoli, Catherine Ann Collins, et al. From Sex to Sexuality, Exposing the Heterosexual Script on Primetime Network Television. Journal of Sex Research 44, No. 2, 2007. Kimmel, Michael. Guyland, The Perilous World in Which Boys Become Men. New York, Harper Perennial, 2009. Klein, Jonathan D., Jane Brown, Kim Childers, et al. Adolescents' Risky Behavior and Mass Media Use. Pediatrics 92, No. 1, 1993, 24-31. Cooperberg, Ariel, and Joseph E. Paget. The Role of Culture in Explaining College Students' Selection into Hookups, Dates, and Long-Term Romantic Relationships. Journal of Social and Personal Relationships 33, No. 8, 2016, 1070-96. Lamont, Ellen, Teresa Roach, and Soap Khan. Navigating Campus Hookup Culture, LGBTQ Students and College Hookups. Sociological Forum 33, No. 4, 2018, 1000-22. Likeleader, Jamie, Anjani Chandra, Nicole Liddon, et al. Prevalence and Correlates of Heterosexual Anal and Oral Sex in Adolescents and Adults in the United States. Journal of Infectious Diseases 196, No. 12, 2008, 1852-59. Levant, Ronald F., Philip A. Allen, and Mei-Ching Lin. Alexithymia in Men, How and When Do Emotional Processing Deficiencies Occur? Psychology of Men and Masculinity 15, No. 3, 2014, 324-34. Liu, Dao, and Y. Joel Wong. The Intersection of Race and Gender, Asian American Men's Experience of Discrimination. Psychology of Men and Masculinity 19, No. 1, 2018, 89-101. Lutz Zoyce, Catherine J., Carissa Ann Moeller, and Mitchell Brown. Mechanisms for the Association Between Traditional Masculine Ideologies and Rape Myth Acceptance Among College Men. Psychology Faculty Publications, Paper 11, 2015. Moss, Megan. The Influence of Internet Pornography on College Students, An Empirical Analysis of Attitudes, Affect, and Sexual Behavior. McNair Scholars Journal 11, 2007, 137-50. Marston, Cicely, and Ruth Lewis. Anal Heterosex Among Young People and Implications for Health Promotion, a Qualitative Study in the UK. BMJ Open 4, No. 8, 2014. Martellozzo, Elena, Andy Monahan, Joanna R. Adler, et al. I wasn't sure it was normal to watch it. A quantitative and qualitative examination of the impact of online pornography on the values, attitudes, beliefs and behaviors of children and young people. Project Report. London, Middlesex University, National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, The Children's Commissioner, 2016. Martinez, Taylor, Jacqueline D. Wiersma Mosley, Kristen N. Joachowski, et al. Good Guys Don't Rape, Greek and Non-Greek College Student Perpetrator Rape Myths. Behavioral Sciences 8, No. 60, 2018. Martino, Stephen, Rebecca L. Collins, Mark N. Elliott, et al. Exposure to Degrading versus Non-Degrading Music Lyrics and Sexual Behavior Among Youth. Pediatrics 118, No. 2, 2006. McKee, Alan. Does Size Matter? Dominant Discourses About Penises in Western Culture. Cultural Studies Review 10, No. 2, 2004, 178. Mellons, Claude A. Kate Walsh, Aaron L. Sarvat, et al. Sexual Assault Incidents Among College Undergraduates, Prevalence and Factors Associated with Risk. PLOS 112, No. 11, 2017. Miller, Elizabeth, Daniel J. Tancredi, Heather L. Macaulay, et al. Coaching Boys into Men, a cluster randomized controlled trial of a dating violence prevention program. Journal of Adolescent Health 51, No. 5, 2012, 431-38. Milburn, Michael A., Roxanne Mather, and Sherry D. Conrad. The Effects of Viewing R-Rated Movie Scenes That Objectify Women on Perceptions of Date Rape. Sex Roles 43, No. 9-10, 2000, 645-64. Morgan, Elizabeth M. Associations between young adults' use of sexually explicit materials and their sexual preferences, behaviors, and satisfaction. Journal of Sex Research 48, No. 6, 2011, 520-30. Muhlenhard, Charlene, and Sheena K. Shippey. Men's and Women's Reports of Pretending Orgasm. Journal of Sex Research 47, No. 6, 2010, 552-67. Nagoski, Emily. Come As You Are, The Surprising New Science That Will Transform Your Sex Life. New York, Simon & Schuster, 2015. Norris, Jeanette, Kelly Q. Davis, William H. George, et al. Alcohol's Direct and Indirect Effects on Men's Self-Reported Sexual Aggression Likelihood. Journal of Studies on Alcohol 63, 2002, 688-69. Norris, Jeanette, William H. George, Kelly Q. Davis, et al. Alcohol and Hypermasculinity as Determinants of Men's Empathic Responses to Violent Pornography. Journal of Interpersonal Violence 14, 1999, 683-700. O'Hara, Ross E., Frederick X. Gibbons, Meg Gerard, et al. Greater exposure to sexual content in popular movies predicts earlier sexual debut and increased sexual risk-taking. Psychological Science 23, No. 9, 2012, 984-93. Orkowski, Lindsay M., Alan Berkowitz, Jesse Boggess, et al. Bystander Intervention Among College Men, The Role of Alcohol and Correlates of Sexual Aggression. Journal of Interpersonal Violence 2015, 1-23. Orenstein, Peggy. Girls and Sex, Navigating the Complicated New Landscape. New York, Harper Paperbacks, 2017. Pascoe, C.J. Dude, You're a Fag, Masculinity and Sexuality in High School. Berkeley, University of California Press, 2007. Pascoe, C.J., and Jocelyn A. Hollander. Good Guys Don't Rape, Gender, Domination and Mobilizing Rape. Gender and Society 30, No. 1, 2015, 67-79. Paul, Pamela. Pornift, How Pornography is Transforming Our Lives, Our Relationships, and Our Families. New York Times Books, 2005. Peter, Jochen, and Patty M. Valkenburg. Adolescents' Exposure to a Sexualized Media Environment and Their Notions of Women as Sex Objects. Sex Roles 56, 2007, 381-95. Adolescents' Exposure to Sexually Explicit Online Material and Recreational Attitudes Toward Sex. Journal of Communication 56, No. 4, 2006, 639-60. Peralta, Robert L. College Alcohol Use and the Embodiment of Hegemonic Masculinity Among European American Men. Sex Roles 56, No. 11-12, 2007, 741-56. Pollock, William S. Real Boys, Rescuing Our Sons from the Myths of Manhood. New York, Random House, 1998. Porter, Tony. A Call to Men. TED. Lecture. December 2010. Primack, Brian A., Erica L. Douglas, Michael J. Fine, et al. Exposure to Sexual Lyrics and Sexual Experience Among Urban Adolescents. American Journal of Preventive Medicine 36, No. 4, 2009. Ray, Rashawn. Fraternity Life at Predominantly White Universities in the U.S., The Saliency of Race. Ethnic and Racial Studies 36, No. 2, 2013, 320-36. Ray, Rashawn, and Jason A. Rossow. Getting Off and Getting Intimate, How Normative Institutional Arrangements Structure Black and White Fraternity Men's Approaches Toward Women. Men and Masculinities 12, No. 5, 2010, 523-46. The Two Different Worlds of Black and White Fraternity Men, Visibility and Accountability as Mechanisms of Privilege. Journal of Contemporary Ethnography 4, No. 1, 2012, 66-94. Reedy, Dennis E., Megan S. Early, and Kristen M. Holland. Boys Are Victims Too. Sexual Dating Violence and Injury Among High-Risk Youth. Preventative Medicine 101 2017, 28-33. Rose, Tricia. The Hip-Hop Wars, What We Talk About When We Talk About Hip-Hop and Why It Matters. New York, Basic Books, 2008. Rosenberger, Joshua, Michael Reese, Vanessa Schick, et al. Sexual behaviors and situational characteristics of most recent male-partnered sexual event among gay and bisexually identified men in the United States. Journal of Sexual Medicine 8, No. 11, 2011, 3040-50. Rothman, Emily F., Elizabeth Miller, Amy Terpelick, et al. The Proportion of U.S. Parents Who Talk with Their Adolescent Children About Dating Abuse. Journal of Adolescent Health 49, No. 2, 2011, 216-18. Rudman, Lori A., and Eugene Borgida. The Afterglow of Construct Accessibility, The Behavioral Consequences of Priming Men to View Women as Sexual Objects. Journal of Experimental Social Psychology 31, No. 6, 1995, 493-517. Sabina, Chiara, Janice Wolick, and David Finkelhor. The Nature and Dynamics of Internet Pornography Exposure for Youth. Cyberpsychology and Behavior 11, No. 6, 2008. Sanday, Peggy Reeves. Rape-Prone vs. Rape-Free Campus Cultures. Violence Against Women 2, No. 2, 1996, 191-208. Santelli, John, Stephanie A. Grillo, Zhe-Wei Chu, et al. Does Sex Education Before College Protect Students from Sexual Assault in College? PLOS 113, No. 11, 2018. Santelli, John S., Leslie M. Contour, Stephanie A. Grillo, et al. Abstinence Only Until Marriage, an updated review of U.S. policies and programs and their impact. Journal of Adolescent Health 61, No. 3, 2017, 273-80. Shallot, Amy T. Not Under My Roof, Parents, Teens, and the Culture of Sex. Chicago, University of Chicago Press, 2011. Scully, Diana, and Joseph Merola. Convicted Rapists' Vocabulary of Motive, Excuses and Justifications. Social Problems 31, No. 5, 1984, 530-44. Seabrook, Rita, Monique Ward, and Soraya Jacardi. Why is fraternity membership associated with sexual assault? Exploring the roles of conformity to masculine norms, pressure to uphold masculinity, and objectification of women. Psychology of Men and Masculinity 19, No. 1, 2018, 3-13. Seabrook, Rita, and Monique Ward. Bros Will Be Bros. The Effect of Fraternity Membership on Perceived Culpability for Sexual Assault. Violence Against Women, December 28, 2018. Schaefer, Catherine S., Jones Ajay, Jody L. Viljoen, et al. 10-Year Trends in Physical Dating Violence Victimization Among Adolescent Boys and Girls in British Columbia, Canada. Journal of Interpersonal Violence, 2018. Sharpley Whiting, Tracy D. Pimps Up, Hose Down, Hip-Hop's Hold on Young Black Women. New York, New York University Press, 2008. Smiler, Andrew P. Challenging Casanova, Beyond the Stereotype of the Promiscuous Young Male. San Francisco, Josie Base, 2012. Steinfeld, Jesse A., Brad D. Fultz, Jessica Mungro, et al. Masculinity Socialization in Sports, Influence of College Football Coaches. Psychology of Men and Masculinity 12, No. 3, 2011, 247-59. Stemple, Laura, Andrew Flores, and Elon H. Meyer. Sexual Victimization Perpetrated by Women, Federal Data Reveal Surprising Prevalence. Aggression and Violent Behavior 34, 2017, 302-11. Stemple, Laura. Male Rape and Human Rights. Hastings Law Journal 60, 2008, 605-47. Sturmer, S. Paul, and Melissa Berkeley. Sex Box, Exposure to Sexist Video Games Predicts Benevolent Sexism. Psychology of Popular Media Culture 4, No. 1, 2015, 47-55. Sun, Ching, Jennifer Johnson, and Matthew Azell. Pornography and the Male Sexual Script, An Analysis of Consumption and Sexual Relations. Archives of Sexual Behavior 45, No. 4, 2016, 983-94. Thompson, Michael. Raising Cain, Protecting the Inner Lives of American Boys. New York, Ballantine, 2000. Tallman, Deborah, Brian R. Davis, and Kristen P. Bowman. That's Just How It Is, a gendered analysis of masculinity and femininity ideologies in adolescent girls' and boys' heterosexual relationships. Journal of Adolescent Research 31, No. 1, 2016, 3-31. Turchik, Jessica. Sexual Victimization Among Male College Students, Assault Severity, Sexual Functioning, and Health Risk Behaviors. Psychology of Men and Masculinity 11, No. 3, 2012, 243-55. Undam, Tressa, and Ann Wong. The State of Gender Equality for U.S. Adolescents. Warwick, Re. Plan International USA 2018. U.S. House of Representatives, Committee on Government Reform Minority Staff, Special Investigations Division. The content of federally funded abstinence-only education programs. Prepared for Representative Henry A. Waxman. Washington, D.C., U.S. Government Printing Office, 2004. Vaughn Robertson, Ray, and Cassandra Cheney. I Know It Racism Still Exists Here, African American Males at a Predominantly White Institution. Humboldt Journal of Social Relations 1, No. 39, 2017, 260-82. Wade, Lisa. American Hookup, The New Culture of Sex on Campus. New York, W. W. Norton, 2017. Ward, L. Monique. Understanding the Role of Entertainment Media in the Sexual Socialization of American Youth, a Review of Empirical Research. Developmental Review 23, 2003, 347-88. Ward, L. Monique, and Kimberly Friedman. Using TV as a Guide, Associations Between Television Viewing and Adolescents' Sexual Attitudes and Behavior. Journal of Research on Adolescence 16, 2006, 133-56. Ward, L. Monique, Edwina Hansbrough, and Ebony Walker. Contributions of Music Video Exposure to Black Adolescents' Gender and Sexual Schemas. Journal of Adolescent Research 20, 2005, 143-66. Way, Niobe. Deep Secrets, Boys' Friendships and the Crisis of Connection. Cambridge, M.A., Harvard University Press, 2013. Weinberg, M. Catherine, Edward Tronick, Jeffrey Cohn, et al. Gender Differences in Emotional Expressivity and Self-Regulation During Early Infancy. Developmental Psychology 35, No. 1, 1999, 175-88. Weisbord, Richard, Tricia Ross Anderson, Allison Cashin, et al. The Talk, How Adults Can Promote Young People's Healthy Relationships and Prevent Misogyny and Sexual Harassment. Cambridge, M.A., Making Caring Common Project Harvard Graduate School of Education, 2017. West, Cornell. Race Matters, Anniversary Edition. Boston, Beacon Press, 2017. Wyden, Sherry C., and James A. Russell. Gender and Preschuler's Perception of Emotion. Merrill Palmer Quarterly 48, No. 3, 2002, 248-61. Widman, Laura, Raina Evans, Hannah Javidi, et al. Assessment of Parent-Based Interventions for Adolescent Health, a Systematic Review and Meta-Analysis. JAMA Pediatrics 173, 2019, 866-77. Wiseman, Rosalind. Masterminds and Wingmen, Helping Our Boys Cope with Schoolyard Power, Locker Room Tests, Girlfriends, and the New Rules of Boy World. New York, Harmony Books, 2013. Wolick, Janice, Kimberly Mitchell, and David Finkelhor. Unwanted and Wanted Exposure to Online Pornography in a National Sample of Youth Internet Users. Pediatrics 119, No. 2, 2007, 247-57. Wang, Y. Joel, Moon Ho Ringo Ho, Shuyi Wang, et al. Meta-analyses of the relationship between conformity to masculine norms and mental health-related outcomes. Journal of Counseling Psychology 64, No. 1, 2017, 80-93. Wang, Y. Joel, Angela J. Horn, and Shidao Chen. Perceived Masculinity, The Potential Influence of Race, Racial Essentialist Beliefs, and Stereotypes. Psychology of Men and Masculinity 14, No. 4, 2013, 452-64. Wang, Y. Joel, Jesse Owen, Kimberly K. Tran et al. Asian American Male College Students' Perceptions of People's Stereotypes About Asian American Men. Psychology of Men and Masculinity 23, No. 1, 2012, 75-88. Wang, Y. Joel, Jesse A. Steinfeld, Julie R. LaFollette, et al. Men's Tears, Football Players' Evaluations of Crying Behavior. Psychology of Men and Masculinity 12, No. 4, 2011, 297-310. Wright, Paul J. Show Me the Data. Empirical Support for the Centerfold Syndrome. Psychology of Men and Masculinity 13, No. 2, 2012, 180-98. A three-wave longitudinal analysis of pre-existing beliefs, exposure to pornography, and attitude change. Communication Reports 26, No. 1, 2013, 13-25. Wright, Paul J., Anna J. Bridges, Ching F. Sun, et al. Personal Pornography Viewing and Sexual Satisfaction, A Quadratic Analysis. Journal of Sex and Marital Therapy 44, No. 3, 2018, 308-15. Wright, Paul J., Ching F. Sun, Nicola J. Stefan, et al. Associative Pathways Between Pornography Consumption and Reduced Sexual Satisfaction. Sexual and Relationship Therapy 2017. Pornography, Alcohol and Male Sexual Dominance. Communication Monographs 82, No. 2, 2015, 252-70. Wright, Paul J., and Michelle Funk. Pornography Consumption and Opposition to Affirmative Action for Women, A Prospective Study. Psychology of Women Quarterly 38, No. 2, 2013, 208-21. Wright, Paul J., Neil M. Malamuth, and Ed Donnerstein. Research on Sex in the Media, What Do We Know About Effects on Children and Adolescents? In Handbook of Children and the Media, 2nd ed., edited by Dorothy G. Singer and Jerome L. Singer. Los Angeles, Sage Publications, 2012. Wright, Paul J., and Ashley K. Randall. Pornography Consumption, Education, and Support for Same-Sex Marriage Among Adult U.S. Males. Communication Research 41, No. 5, 2013, 665-89. Wright, Paul J., Nicola J. Stefan, and Ching F. Sun. Is the relationship between pornography consumption frequency and lower sexual satisfaction curvilinear? Results from England and Germany. Journal of Sex Research 56, 2019, 9-15. Wright, Paul J., and Robert S. Tokunaga. Activating the Centerfold Syndrome, Recency of Exposure, Sexual Explicitness, Past Exposure to Objectifying Media. Communications Research 20, No. 10, 2013, 1-34. Men's Objectifying Media Consumption, Objectification of Women, and Attitudes Supportive of Violence Against Women. Archives of Sexual Behavior 45, No. 4, 2016, 955-64. Wright, Paul J., Robert Tokunaga, Ashley Krauss, et al. Pornography Consumption and Satisfaction, A Meta-Analysis. Human Communication Research 43, No. 3, 2017, 314-43. Yasso, Tara, William A. Smith, Miguel Ceja, et al. Critical Race Theory, Racial Microaggressions, and Campus Racial Climate for Latina, undergraduates. Harvard Educational Review 79, No. 4, 2009, 659-91. Yao, Mike Z., Chad Mahood, and Daniel Linz. Sexual Priming, Gender Stereotyping, and Likelihood to Sexually Harass, Examining the Cognitive Effects of Playing a Sexually Explicit Video Game. Sex Roles 62, No. 102, 2010, 77-88. Zaloom, Shafia. Sex, Teens, and Everything in Between, The New and Necessary Conversations Today's Teenagers Need to Have About Consent, Sexual Harassment, Healthy Relationships, Love, and More. Naperville, IL, Sourcebooks, 2019. Zhang, Yuan, Laura Miller, and Kristen Harrison. The Relationship Between Exposure to Sexual Music Videos and Young Adults' Sexual Attitudes. Journal of Broadcasting and Electronic Media 52, No. 3, 2008, 368-86. Notes. Chapter 1, Welcome to Dick School. Nearly 60% of American, Heilman, Barker, and Harrison, the Man Box. A 2018 National Survey, Undam and Wong, The State of Gender Equality for U.S. Adolescents. Young American Men also, Heilman, Barker, and Harrison, The Man Box. See also Gallagher and Parrott, What Accounts for Men's Hostile Attitudes Toward Women. Whether You Label It Pollock, Real Boys, Kimmel, Guyland. Or, The Man Box, Porter, A Call to Men, Heilman, Barker, and Harrison, The Man Box. See also American Psychological Association, Boys and Men Guidelines Group, Guidelines for Psychological Practice with Boys and Men. Young Men Who Most Internalize, Heilman, Barker, and Harrison, The Man Box, June Gruber and Jessica Borelli, The Importance of Fostering Emotional Diversity in Boys, Scientific American, December 12, 2017, Bauer and Gazmararian, Masculine Gender Role Stress and Violence, Wong, Ringo Ho, Wong, et al., Meta-analyses of the relationship between conformity to masculine norms and mental health-related outcomes, Alia E. Dastagir, Gender Stereotypes Are Destroying Girls. And They're Killing Boys, USA Today, September 21, 2017, American Psychological Association, Sexism May Be Harmful to Men's Mental Health, Lutz Zois, Moeller, and Brown, Mechanisms for the Association Between Traditional Masculine Ideologies and Rape Myth Acceptance Among College Men, Gallagher and Parrott, What Accounts for Men's Hostile Attitudes Toward Women. At its core, what psychologist, Pollock, Real Boys, Kimmel calls it the Guy Code, in Guyland. That must be continuously policed, Ibid. There is no difference at birth, Weinberg, Tronick, Cohn, et al., gender differences in emotional expressivity and self-regulation during early infancy. See also Brody, The Socialization of Gender Differences in Emotional Expression. In a classic study, Adults, Condorey and Condorey, Sex Differences. When told the same infant is a girl, they describe her response as fear. Preschoolers are also more likely to attribute disgust to a male and fear to a female when read a story that is identical save the gender of the protagonist. Wyden and Russell, Gender and Preschoolers' Perception of Emotion. Mothers of Young Children, Van der Pol, Groeneveld, Van Berkel, et al., Fathers and Mothers Emotion Talk with Their Girls and Boys from Toddlerhood to Preschool Age, Johnson, Kasky, Rand, et al., Gender Differences in Adult-Infant Communication in the First Months of Life, Aznar and Tenenbaum, Spanish Parents' Emotion Talk and Their Children's Understanding of Emotion. With sons, again, they focus, Gruber and Borelli, the importance of fostering emotional diversity in boys. Fathers Speak with Less, Christina Dell, Mothers Talk Differently to Daughters Than Sons, Study, Time, November 13, 2014, Van der Pol, Groeneveld, Van Berkel, et al., Fathers and Mothers Emotion Talk with Their Girls and Boys from Toddlerhood to Preschool Age. Despite that, according to Judy, Noah Berlatsky, How Boys Teach Each Other to Be Boys, The Atlantic, June 6, 2014, Vicky Zakurzewski, Debunking the Myths About Boys and Emotions, GreaterGood.com, December 1, 2014. The Lifelong Physical and Mental Health Consequences, Bloom, M. Mari, and Moreau, It Begins at 10, How Gender Expectations Shape Early Adolescence Around the World. By 14, Boys, Pollock, Real Boys. See also Wait, Deep Secrets. They Suspect Girls, Molly Babel, Grant McGuire, and Joseph King, Toward a More Nuanced View of Vocal Attractiveness, PLOS ONE, February 19, 2014. Emma-diversity, Being Able to Experience, Gruber and Borelli, The Importance of Fostering Emotional Diversity in Boys. GQ, for instance, stipulates, Lauren Bands, Ball So Hard, GQ, June 8, 2015. AskMen.com adds that crying, Michael A. Shati, The Rules for Crying in Sports, AskMen.com. A survey of 150 college football, Wong, Steinfeld, Lafollette, et al., Men's Tears. See also Jared DeFife, The Crying Game, Male Athletes Shedding Tears, Psychology Today, January 14, 2012. Robert Lipsyte, a longtime, Lipsyte, Jocks vs. Fuchs, The Nation, July 27, 2011. But, Lipsyte has written, Ibid. Loyalty is Unconditional, Ibid. See also Steinfeld, Foltz, Mungro, et al., Masculinity Socialization in Sports. At the same time, fag, Pasco, dude, you're a fag. See also Funk and Werhan, you're such a girl. And, in fact, by the time, Paula Levine, OTL, college athletes 3 times more likely to be named in Title X sexual misconduct complaints, ESPN.com, November 3, 2018. In the spring of 2019, Shreya Chattopadhyay and Trina Paul, 2013 Do Minutes, past members provide window into culture of frat, The Phoenix, May 2, 2019, Julie Turkowitz, Swarthmore fraternities disband after uproar over rape addict documents, New York Times, May 1, 2019, A19, Bayless Wagner, Naomi Park, Trina Paul, et al., Cult of Misogyny, leaked internal documents reveal silence around harmful culture at Phi Psi, The Phoenix, April 18, 2019. For more insight into qualities of high-risk fraternities, see Boswell and Spade, Fraternities and Collegiate Rape Culture. In Order for Gross, Crude, Sexual, Gina Briner, Study Reveals Why We Laugh at Disgusting Jokes, Live Science, August 10, 2010. Psychologist Michael Thompson has pointed out Thompson, Raising Cain. See also Kimmel, Guyland. Chapter 2, If it exists, there is porn of it. It's no secret that today's children, there is even a TED Talk titled, The Great Porn Experiment. 100 million visitors, Pornhub Insights, 2018 Year in Review, Pornhub, December 11, 2018. The site is owned by David Auerbach. Vampire porn, MindGeek is a cautionary tale of consolidating production and distribution in a single, monopolistic owner. Slate, October 23, 2014. Absent other sources, Abby Young Powell, Students Turn to Porn for Sex Education, Guardian, January 29, 2015. Girls in Particular Consult, Herbenik, Paul, Gratis, et al., The 2016 National Survey of Porn Use, Relationships, and Sexual Socialization. One National Survey, IBID. Often, the first exposure, see, for instance, Wolick, Mitchell, and Finkelhor, Unwanted and Wanted Exposure to Online Pornography in a National Sample of Youth Internet Users. Intentional searches started, see Sabina, Wolick, and Finkelhor, The Nature and Dynamics of Internet Pornography Exposure for Youth. That, as it happens, Dill Shackleford, How Fantasy Becomes Reality. Consider the College Students, IBID. Karen Dill Shackleford, a media psychologist, IBID. On the upside, there's some indication, Wright and Randall, pornography consumption, education, and support for same-sex marriage among adult U.S. males. See also Regnerus, porn use and support of same-sex marriage. On the other hand, they're also less likely, Wright and Funk, pornography consumption and opposition to affirmative action for women. To disagree with or only tepidly endorse, Undam and Wong, The State of Gender Equality for U.S. Adolescents. College students who regularly, Martellozzo, Monahan, Adler, et al. I wasn't sure it was normal to watch it. Quote. Other research has found that boys believe internet pornography to be more realistic than girls do and that adolescents view it as more realistic than young adults. Peter and Bockenberg, Adolescents' Exposure to a Sexualized Media Environment and Their Notions of Women as Sex Objects, Peter and Balkenberg, Adolescents' Exposure to Sexually Explicit Online Material and Recreational Attitudes Toward Sex. Although greater media use, O'Hara, Gibbons, Gerard, et al., greater exposure to sexual content in popular movies predicts earlier sexual debut and increased sexual risk-taking, Wright, Malamuth, and Donnerstein, Research on Sex in the Media, Berseman, Bordeaux, Fisher, et al., Television Use, Sexual Behavior, and Relationship Status at Last Oral Sex and Vaginal Intercourse, Fisher, Hill, Grube, et al., Televised Sexual Content and Parental Mediation, Primack, Douglas, Fine, et al., Exposure to Sexual Lyrics and Sexual Experience Among Urban Adolescents. Brown, Lengel, Pardon, et al., Sexy Media Matter, Jong, Miller, and Harrison, The Relationship Between Exposure to Sexual Music Videos and Young Adults' Sexual Attitudes, Ward and Friedman, Using TV as a Guide, Ward, Hansbrough, and Walker, Contributions of Music Video Exposure to Black Adolescents' Gender and Sexual Schemas, Ward, Understanding the Role of Entertainment Media in the Sexual Socialization of American Youth, Brown, Mass Media Influences on Sexuality, Klein, Brown, Childers. Et al., Adolescents' Risky Behavior and Mass Media Use. To have more partners, American College of Pediatricians, The Impact of Pornography on Children, Position Statement, June 2016, Catherine Selgren, Pornography, Desensitizing Young People, BBC.com, June 15, 2016, Bridges, Son, and Azell, Sexual Scripts and the Sexual Behavior of Men and Women Who Use Pornography, Son, Johnson, and Azell, Pornography and the Male Sexual Script, Wright, a three-wave longitudinal analysis of pre-existing beliefs. Exposure to Pornography, An Attitude Change, Braun Corville and Rojas, Exposure to Sexually Explicit Web Sites and Adolescent Sexual Attitudes and Behaviors, Carroll, Padilla Walker, Nelson, et al., Generation XXX, Peter and Bockenberg, Adolescents' Exposure to a Sexualized Media Environment and Their Notions of Women as Sex Objects, Moss, The Influence of Internet Pornography on College Students, Peter and Bockenberg, Adolescents' Exposure to Sexually Explicit Online Material and Recreational Attitudes toward Sex. Bonino, Chirano, Ribaglietti, et al., Use of Pornography and Self-Reported Engagement in Sexual Violence Among Adolescents. In 1992, 16%, Herbenik, Rees, Schick, et al., Sexual Behavior in the United States. See also Susan Donaldson James, Study Reports Anal Sex on Rise Among Teens, ABC News, December 10, 2008, Bahar Golapur, Teen Anal Sex Study, Live Science, August 14, 2014. Most, by the way, do not, Likeleader, Chandra, Liddon, et al., Prevalence and Correlates of Heterosexual Anal and Oral Sex in Adolescents and Adults in the United States. A 2014 Survey of Anal Sex, Marston and Lewis, Anal Heterosex Among Young People and Implications for Health Promotion, a qualitative study in the UK. His previous co-authored research, those aggressive behaviors, included hair pulling, spanking a partner hard enough to leave a mark, facial ejaculation, confinement, double penetration, penetrating a partner's anus or vagina simultaneously with another man, ass to mouth, anally penetrating a partner and then inserting the penis directly into her mouth, penile gagging, facial slapping, choking, and name-calling, such as slut or whore. Wright, Tokunaga, and Krauss, Pornography Consumption and Satisfaction, Wright, Son, Stefan, et al., Pornography, Alcohol, and Male Sexual Dominance. Among male college students, Wright and Tokunaga, Activating the Centerfold Syndrome, Wright, Show Me the Data. College students of both sexes, Brosey, Faubert, Bannon, et al., Effects of Women's Pornography Use on Bystander Intervention in a Sexual Assault Situation and Rape Myth Acceptance, Wright and Tokunaga, Men's Objectifying Media Consumption, Objectification of Women, and Attitudes Supportive of Violence Against Women, Brown and Lengel, X-rated, Sexual Attitudes and Behaviors Associated with U.S. Early Adolescents' Exposure to Sexually Explicit Media, Hald, Malamuth, and Lang, Pornography and Sexist Attitudes Among Heterosexuals. Faubert, Brosey, and Bannon, Pornography Viewing Among Fraternity Men. What may be of more immediate, Wright, Bridges, Son, et al., Personal Pornography Viewing and Sexual Satisfaction, Wright, Stefan, and Son, is the relationship between pornography consumption frequency and lower sexual satisfaction curvilinear. Wright, Tokunaga, Krauss, et al., Pornography Consumption and Satisfaction, Wright, Son, Stefan, et al., Associative Pathways Between Pornography Consumption and Reduced Sexual Satisfaction, Morgan, Associations Between Young Adults' Use of Sexually Explicit Materials and Their Sexual Preferences, Behaviors, and Satisfaction. There is even speculation, Melissa Batchelor-Warnke, millennials are having less sex than any generation in 60 years. Here's Why It Matters, Los Angeles Times, August 3, 2016, Dave Simpson, Why Millennials Aren't Fucking, Vice, April 26, 2016. We tend to believe, Nagoski, come as you are. For men, the overlap, Ibid. Or some politicians, John Elegant and Michael Schwartz, Senate candidate provokes ire with legitimate rape, comment, New York Times, August 20, 2012, A13, Garance Frank Ruta, a canard that will not die, legitimate rape, doesn't cause pregnancy, The Atlantic, August 19, 2012. Quite the opposite, Mark Schraber, here's the dangerous and grotesque anal sex trend you've always wanted, Jezebel, June 19, 2014. Events of Most Heterosexual Porn, Bryant Paul, Author Interview, December 7, 2017. Pornhub's front page, Sarah Rentz, the human race really outdid itself with porn searches in 2018, December 12, 2018. Nor is its sexual explicitness, gamble, from sexual media to unwanted hookups. Anna Bridges, some pornography scenes are wholesome, others degrading. New York Times, November 11, 2012, Isle and Finnerty, the portrayal of sexual intercourse on television. Isle and Kunkel, the effects of sex in television drama shows on emerging adults' sexual attitudes and moral judgments. Kim, Sorsoli, Collins, et al., From Sex to Sexuality, Martino, Collins, Elliott, et al., Exposure to degrading versus non-degrading music lyrics and sexual behavior among youth. Even a brief exposure, Davies, Spencer, Quinn, et al., Consuming Images. One clue as to how Milburn, Mather, and Conrad, the effects of viewing R-rated movie scenes that objectify women on perceptions of date rape. Such sexualized images. Rudman and Borgida, The Afterglow of Construct Accessibility. Female characters in Stacey L. Smith and Crystal Aline Cook, Gender Stereotypes, An Analysis of Popular Films and TV, The Gina Davis Institute on Gender in Media, 2008. By 2018 only 31%, Brent Lang, movies featured more female protagonists in 2018, but it's not all good news. Study, Variety, February 19, 2019. By their teens and 20s, Horvath, Hegarty, Tyler, et al., Lights On at the End of the Party. Among college students, regular readership has also been associated with lower intent to seek sexual consent or adhere to decisions about it. Hust, Merritt, Wren, et al., Establishing and Adhering to Sexual Consent. About half of boys, Undam and Wong, The State of Gender Equality for U.S. Adolescents. Nearly half also see female video game, IBID. As many as two-thirds of female journalists. Sonia Elks, I Will Rape You, female journalists face relentless abuse. Reuters, September 13, 2018. Video games, incidentally, Baig, Sarda, Gentile, et al., Video games exposure and sexism in a representative sample of adolescents, Sturmer and Berkeley, Sex Box, Beck, Boys, Rose, et al., Violence against women in video games, Dill, Brown, and Collins, Effects of exposure to sex-stereotyped video game characters on tolerance of sexual harassment. Playing Sexually Charged, Yao, Mahood, and Lin's, Sexual Priming, Gender Stereotyping, and Likelihood to Sexually Harass. Tricia Rose, Director of the Center for Study, Rose, The Hip Hop Wars. See also Sharply Whiting, Pimps Up, Hose Down. Although hip-hop didn't invent sexism, IBID. See also Rose, Jay-Z, Dropping the Word, Bitch, Doesn't Begin to Cover It. Frank Benton, Getting a Bad Rap, Misogynistic Themes in YouTube's Top 100 Most Viewed Pop and Hip-Hop, Rap Music Videos by Artists. Gender, CLA Journal 3, 2015, 11-35, Aubrey and Frisbee, Sexual Objectification in Music Videos. Dara Mathis tweeted about West, Mathis, Dear Kanye West, North and Chicago or Not Your Karma, Bitch Media, June 12, 2018. He blamed the weed. Brian Wu, Does Marijuana Cause Erectile Dysfunction? Medical News Today, August 9, 2018. Chapter 3, Are You Experienced? Life and Love in a Hookup Culture. High school and college students are Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, fewer U.S. High school students having sex, using drugs, Centers for Disease Control. Newsroom press release, June 14, 2018. In reality, around 35-40%, Ford in England, hookups, sex, and relationships at college. According to the online College Social Life Survey, IBID. The behavior is most common. See Wade, American Hookup, Cooperberg and Paget, The Role of Culture in Explaining College Students' Selection into Hookups, Dates, and Long-Term Romantic Relationships, Armstrong and Hamilton, Paying for the Party. No wonder as many as 85%, Wade, American Hookup. See also Fordham News, Sex and the Soul and the College Student, September 29, 2014. According to Lisa Wade, Wade, American Hookup. To say that hookup culture is lubricated, IBID. Alcohol has been shown, Abby, alcohol's role in sexual violence perpetration, Davis, the influence of alcohol expectancies and intoxication on men's aggressive unprotected sexual intentions, Faubert, Newberry, and Tatum, behavior differences 7 months later, Carr and Van Duysen, risk factors for male sexual aggression on college campuses, Abby, Clinton Sherrod, McCausland, et al., the relationship between the quantity of alcohol consumed and the severity of sexual assaults committed by college men. Norris, Davis, George, et al., Alcohol's direct and indirect effects on men's self-reported sexual aggression likelihood, Abby, Zavotsky, Buck, et al., Alcohol and Sexual Assault, Norris, George, Davis, et al., Alcohol and Hypermasculinity as Determinants of Men's Empathic Responses to Violent Pornography. Drunk guys are more aggressive, Abby, Alcohol's Role in Sexual Violence Perpetration, Orkowski, Berkowitz, Bogus, et al., Bystander Intervention Among College Men. That orgasm gap shrinks, Ford in England, Hookups, Sex, and Relationships in College. Guys also overestimate women's orgasms, Ibid. There's even some suggestion that Bedera and Rothwell, Emotional Intimacy and Sex, Nicole Bedera, author interview, September 29, 2017. For some college men, Wade, American Hookup. See also Kalish, Masculinities and Hooking Up. According to sociologist Lisa, Wade, American Hookup. But that creates a predicament, England, Schaefer, and Fogarty, hooking up and forming romantic relationships on today's college campuses, Armstrong, England, and Fogarty, accounting for women's orgasm and sexual enjoyment in college hookups and relationships, Armstrong, Hamilton, and England, is hooking up bad for young women. In part, that was due to a dearth. In general, the gender ratio on campus is thought to influence perceptions of casual sex. Society for Personality and Social Psychology, imbalanced gender ratios could affect views about casual sex and hookup culture, Science Daily, December 9, 2015. In comparing Dutch and American, Shallot, Not Under My Roof. Yet, a large-scale survey, Giordano, Longmore, and Manning, Gender and the Meanings of Adolescent Romantic Relationships, Giordano, Relationships in Adolescence. Romantic partners can be controlling, dating abuse statistics, love is respect. As a result, young men, Wake Forest University, young men more vulnerable to relationship ups and downs than women, Science Daily, June 14, 2010. That said, according to sociologist, Wade, American Hookup. Chapter 4, Get Used to It, Gay, Trans, and Queer Guys. Attitudes have shifted more. Attitudes on Same-Sex Marriage, Pew Research Center, May 14, 2019. Even among groups, Ibid. Gay men now earn an average, Kit Carpenter, gay men used to earn less than straight men, now they earn more, Harvard Business Review, December 4, 2017. As acceptance has risen, American Friends of Tel Aviv University, age of coming out, is now dramatically younger, Science Daily, October 11, 2011. 20% of millennials, Harris Poll, Accelerating Acceptance 2017, Los Angeles, GLAAD 2017. See also Human Rights Campaign, Growing Up LGBT, Report, Washington, D.C., Human Rights Campaign, 2012. 12% of all millennials identify as transgender or gender nonconforming, meaning they do not identify with the sex they were assigned at birth or their gender expression is different from conventional expectations of masculinity and femininity. Of that 12%, 63% also say they do not identify as heterosexual. Among Gen Z, Harris Poll, Accelerating Acceptance 2017. The 50% rise, STDs in adolescents and young adults, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Queer boys compose 1 in 5, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, HIV and Youth, September 2019, National Center for HIV, AIDS, Viral Hepatitis, STD, and TB Prevention, National Youth HIV and AIDS Awareness Day, Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, April 9, 2019. African Americans, Low-Income Men, Ari Shapiro, Why Men in Mississippi Are Still Dying of AIDS, Despite Existing Treatments, All Things Considered, National Public Radio, February 14, 2019. Abstinence-Only Education, GLSEN Calls for LGBTQ Inclusive Sex Ed, Press Release, New York, GLSEN, 2015. It also traffics in its own, Rosenberger, Rees, Schick, et al., sexual behaviors and situational characteristics of most recent male-partnered sexual event among gay and bisexually identified men in the United States. Although far less researched, Kendall, Educating Gay Male Youth. The Mainstream Party Culture, Wade, American Hookup, Lamont, Roach, and Kahn, Navigating Campus Hookup Culture. That was in 2015, Halberstam, Trans *, Trey Taylor, Why 2015 was the year of trans visibility, Vogue, December 29, 2015. He was not denounced or disbelieved when, Don Ennis, American Medical Association responds to, epidemic, of violence against transgender community, Forbes, June 15, 2019. Most transgender people, Sandy E. James, Jody Herman, Susan Rankin, et al., the report of the 2015 U.S. Transgender Survey, Washington, D.C., National Center for Transgender Equality, 2016. 36% of trans male respondents had undergone chest reduction surgery and 3% had a phalloplasty. Another 2% underwent metoidoplasty, which involves the creation of a phallus from the clitoris. 14% had undergone a hysterectomy. Although, according to the survey, an additional 61% said they would like to have chest surgery and an additional 57% a hysterectomy, only an additional 19% said they wanted phalloplasty and an additional 25% would like a metoidoplasty. It is perhaps not surprising, Angie Leventis-Lurgos, parents often struggle to talk about sex with LGBTQ teens, Northwestern Study, Chicago Tribune, April 9, 2018. They need to have agency over, IBID. Chapter 5, Heads You Lose, Tails I Win, Boys of Color in a White World. Only 40% of African American men, Emily Tate, Graduation Rates and Race, Inside Higher Ed, April 26, 2017. See also American Psychological Association, Presidential Task Force on Educational Disparities, Ethnic and Racial Disparities in Education, Psychology's Contributions to Understanding and Reducing Disparities, Washington, D.C., American Psychological Association, 2012. It turns out, according to Armstrong and Hamilton, paying for the party. In Paying for the Party, their 5-year, IBID. Meanwhile, a sweeping Emily Badger, Claire Kane Miller, Adam Pierce, et al. Extensive data shows punishing reach of racism for black boys, New York Times, March 19, 2018. All that said, African American, Isa Landa, Gender, Race, and Justifications for Group Exclusion. See also Holland, Only Here for the Day. The video plays with Kimmel, Guyland. See also West, Race Matters. South Asian women were infuriated, Aditi Natasha Keeney, I'm tired of watching brown men fall in love with white women on screen, Jezebel, July 6, 2017, Emil Niazi, The Big Sick, is great, and it's also stereotypical toward brown women, Vice, July 7, 2017. Perhaps all of that sounds paranoid, Race and Attraction, 2009-2014, OkCupid, September 9, 2014, The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, Sexual Racism, Comedy Central, April 12, 2016. Those gender gaps play out, Gretchen Livingston and Anna Brown, Intermarriage in the U.S. 50 Years After Loving v. Virginia, Pew Research Center, 2017. Why? Joel Wong, a professor of Wong, Horn, and Chen, Perceived Masculinity. See also Liu and Wong, The Intersection of Race and Gender, Cheng, McDermott, Wong, et al., Drive for Muscularity in Asian American Men, Wong, Owen, Tran, et al., Asian American Male College Students' Perceptions of People's Stereotypes about Asian American Men. In interviewing a racially diverse group, Chen, Hooked on Race. See also Shankar Vedantam, Hookup Culture, The Unspoken Rules of Sex on College Campuses, Hidden Brain, National Public Radio, September 25, 2017. Putting aside, for a moment, see McKee, Does Size Matter? On a college level, while Emily Yoff, The Question of Race in Campus Sexual Assault Cases, The Atlantic, September 11, 2017. In a 2019 nationally representative, black women and bisexual women reported the highest rates of harassment and assault. UC San Diego Center on Gender Equity and Health, Stop Street Harassment, Measuring #MeToo, a national study on sexual harassment and assault, San Diego, UC San Diego Center on Gender Equity and Health, 2019. After Bill Cosby's arrest in 2015, Feminista Jones, Why Black Women Are Jumping to Bill Cosby's Defense, and Why They Should Stop Time, January 9, 2015. And in the final episode of Salamisha Tillit and Scheherazade Tillit, after the surviving R. Kelly documentary, #MeToo has finally returned to black girls, New York Times, January 10, 2019. They also piled up, Vaughn Robertson and Cheney, I know it racism still exists here, Adrian Green, The Cost of Balancing Academia and Racism, The Atlantic, January 21, 2016, Joan Brasher, Black college students face hidden mental health crisis, Research News at Vanderbilt, December 30, 2015, Yasso, Smith, Seha, et al., Critical Race Theory, Racial Microaggressions, and Campus Racial Climate for Latina, Undergraduates, American Psychological Association. Presidential Task Force on Educational Disparities, Ethnic and Racial Disparities in Education, Psychology's Contributions to Understanding and Reducing Disparities. And it turns out that Black, Hammond, taking it like a man. At a certain point, one has to, Jake knew, bad apples are the barrel. Inside Higher Ed, April 15, 2015. Additionally, while members of both Ray fraternity life at predominantly white universities in the U.S., Ray and Rousseau, the two different worlds of black and white fraternity men, visibility and accountability as mechanisms of privilege, Ray and Rousseau, getting off and getting intimate. See also Allison and Risman, it goes hand in hand with the parties. Though some health educators, Zaloom, sex, teens, and everything in between, Karis Dennison calls this the Platinum Rule. Karis Dennison, author interview, June 26, 2019. Chapter 6, I know I'm a good guy, but. Well, something like, Zaloom, sex, teens, and everything in between. In reality, according to Cantor, Fisher, Chibnall, et al., report on the AAU Campus Climate Survey on Sexual Assault and Sexual Misconduct. In 2015, Nicole Bedera, Moaning and Eye Contact, Nicole Bedera, author interview, September 29, 2017. They, too, generally deny, Scully and Marola, convicted rapists' vocabulary of motive. The truth is, Hansen, O'Byrne, and Rapley, young heterosexual men's use of the miscommunication model in explaining acquaintance rape. Bedera's subjects considered, Bedera, Moaning and Eye Contact, Nicole Bedera, author interview, September 29, 2017. In 2016, researchers, Brooks, Lang Ree, Yuan, et al., Campus Sexual Assault. See also Becker and Tinkler, Me Getting Plastered and Her Provoking My Eyes, Jacques Tiora, Abby, Parkhill, et al., Why Do Some Men Misperceive Women's Sexual Intentions More Frequently Than Others Do? Roni Jacobson, Targeting Drunk Women Accounts for Sexual Aggression, Not Blurred Lines, Scientific American, March 7, 2104, Peralta, College Alcohol Use and the Embodiment of Hegemonic Masculinity Among European American Men. Women Project, Maya Salam, Women, Alcohol and Perceived Sexual Availability, New York Times, May 14, 2019. Even Men Who Admit to, Heather Murphy, New Scrutiny for Men Who Rape, New York Times, October 31, 2017, D1. See also Edwards, Bradshaw, and Hinch, Denying Rape but Endorsing Forceful Intercourse. Other Young Men, Pascoe and Hollander, Good Guys Don't Rape. The Narcissism of Male Desire. For more on how gender ideologies can complement and perpetuate one another, see Tallman, Davis, and Bowman, That's Just How It Is. Zaloom calls it the gender paradigm, Zaloom, sex, teens, and everything in between. What's more, most, Weisbord with Anderson, Cashin, et al., The Talk. See also Lisa Demure, Talking with Both Daughters and Sons About Sex, New York Times, January 11, 2017, Rothman, Miller, Terpelic, et al., The Proportion of U.S. Parents Who Talk with Their Adolescent Children About Dating Abuse. Women Often Freeze in Response, Jim Hopper, Freezing During Sexual Assault and Harassment, Psychology Today, April 3, 2018. Chapter 7, All Guys Want It. Don't They? In middle and high school, Reedy, Early, and Holland, boys are victims too. Schaefer, Ajay, Viljoen et al., 10-year trends in physical dating violence victimization among adolescent boys and girls in British Columbia, Canada. Though when it comes to the most, Kashmira Gander, 90% of teens killed by their partners are girls, and most of the killers are men. Newsweek, April 15, 2019. When researchers ask students, Connor Friedersdorf, the understudied female sexual predator, The Atlantic, November 28, 2016. See also Stempel, Flores, and Meyer, Sexual Victimization Perpetrated by Women, French, Tillman, and Malebranche, Sexual Coercion Context and Psychosocial Correlates Among Diverse Males, Fisher and Pina, An Overview of the Literature on Female-Perpetrated Adult Male Sexual Victimization, Turchik, Sexual Victimization Among Male College Students, Kessel, Sexual Insistence and Disliked Sexual Activities in Young Adulthood, Stempel, Male Rape and Human Rights. A 3-year, $2.2 million, Mellons, Walsh, Sarvat, et al., Sexual Assault Incidents Among College Undergraduates. Other research has found, John Faubert, Rapabate, Email Reveals Dark Side of Frat Culture, CNN, October 9, 2013. They, too, would rather feel violated. Ford, Describing Unwanted Sex with Women, Ford, Going with the Flow, Ford and Soto Marquez, Sexual Assault Victimization Among Straight, Gay, Lesbian, and Bisexual College Students. In one study of college students, Muhlenhardt and Shippey, Men's and Women's Reports of Pretending Orgasm. See also Roberts, Kipix, and Waldby, Faking It. Their accounts also typically, Ford, Going with the Flow. When news broke of a Florida, Lori Roberts, boy allegedly molested by Goodyear teacher Brittany Zamores. Lucky. As Central, March 26, 2018, Stuart Perry, Why is there a double standard when female teachers have sex with students? Lad Bible, March 6, 2018, Holly McKay, Female Teachers Having Sex with Students, Double Standards, Lack of Awareness, Fox News, June 30, 2017. Shortly before he won, Marlo Stern, The Daily Show, digs up creepy clip of Trump defending a statutory rape, The Daily Beast, September 29, 2016. As many as 1 in 6 boys, Dube, Anda, Whitfield, et al., long-term consequences of childhood sexual abuse by gender a victim. A freshman at Brown, Emily Cassie, Male victims of campus sexual assault speak out, we're up against a system that's not designed to help us, Huffington Post, January 27, 2105. The SHIFT study found that Kahn, Hirsch, Wambold, et al., I didn't want to be that girl, the social risks of labeling, telling, and reporting sexual assault. Chapter 8, A Better Man. A national survey of students, Cantor, Fisher, Chibnall, et al., report on the AAU Campus Climate Survey on Sexual Assault and Sexual Misconduct. See also Carey, Durney, Shepardson, et al., Incapacitated and Forcible Rape of College Women. One woman, whose son, Anemona Hartokolis and Christina Kopecky, mothers willing to do everything, mothers defend sons accused of sexual assault, New York Times, October 24, 2017, A12. Another, who was among a IBID. Although its primary emphasis, for more on best practices in restorative justice, see CARP, The Little Book of Restorative Justice for Colleges and Universities, Bargan, Edwards, Hartman, et al., Serving Crime Victims Through Restorative Justice, Kaplan, Restorative Justice and Campus Sexual Misconduct. In his study of 659, Karp and Sachs, Student Conduct, Restorative Justice, and Student Development. What's more, as Judith Herman, Justice from the Victim's Perspective. There is no perfect system, see, for instance, Young, Concealing Campus Sexual Assault. Chapter 9, Deep Breath, Talking to Boys. Yet, realistically, only 24 states, Christina Capatides, a cup full of spit, a chewed-up piece of gum. These are the metaphors used to teach kids about sex, CBS News, April 29, 2019. Well, right this minute, IBID. See also, U.S. House of Representatives, the content of federally funded abstinence-only education programs, Santelli, Contour, Grillo, et al., abstinence only until marriage. Despite a federal investment in abstinence only, Jessica Boyer, new name, same harm, Guttmacher Policy Review, February 28, 2018, Andrea Zielinski, rewrite of Texas sex education standards could include lessons on contraception, gender identity, Houston Chronicle, June 13, 2019, Advocates for Youth, Sexual Education, Research and Results, Fact Sheet, Washington, D.C., Advocates for Youth, 2009. Equally concerning, while pleasure-based, Santelli, Grillo, Chu, et al., does sex education before college protect students from sexual assault in college? Tina Rosenberg, Equipping Women to Stop Campus Rape, New York Times, May 30, 2018. Fewer than half of high schools, Planned Parenthood, what's the state of sex education in the U.S.? Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 16 critical sexual education topics. Only 10 states require that, Laura Fay. Just 24 states mandate sex education for K-12 students, and only 9 require any discussion of consent. See how California compares, LA School Report, April 1, 2019. Since the publication of this article, Colorado also began mandating some form of consent education when sex education is taught in the state's schools. Decades of research have Widman, Evans, and Javidi, Assessment of Parent-Based Interventions for Adolescent Sexual Health, a systematic review and meta-analysis. Despite their eye-rolling, Hallman and Koenig-Kellas say something instead of nothing. Weisbord with Anderson, Cashin, et al. The Talk, Roni Karin Rabin, Why Parents Should Have the Sex Talk with Their Children, New York Times, November 4, 2015, Alexandra Ossola, Kids Really Do Want to Have the Talk with Parents, Popular Science, March 5, 2015. As health educator Shafia Zaloom, Sex, Teens, and Everything in Between. Along with sexual information, Weisbord with Anderson, Cashin, et al., The Talk, Rick Weisbord, Teens Romantic Relationships, Making Caring Common Project, October 2018, Ossola, Kids Really Do Want to Have the Talk with Parents. In contrast to the Always Down for It, Andrew Smiler, Why Do Boys Date and Have Sex? AndrewsMiller.com, January 23, 2015. Amy Shalit, a sociologist who, Amy Shalit, The New ABCDs of Talking About Sex with Teenagers, HuffPost, November 2, 2011, Orenstein, Girls and Sex. Andrew Smiler suggests, Smiler, challenging Casanova. Close relationships, whether platonic or romantic, Jodi Aked and Sam Thompson, 5 Ways to Well-Being, New Applications, New Ways of Thinking, New Economics Foundation, July 5, 2011. By adulthood, the majority of men, Levant, Allen, and Lean, alexithymia in men, Karakis and Levant, is normative male alexithymia associated with relationship satisfaction, fear of intimacy and communication quality among men in relationships. See also, How to Encourage Healthy Emotional Development in Boys. Recall that mothers, Gruber and Borelli, the importance of fostering emotional diversity in boys. Boys as young as 4 are keenly aware, Cherney and Dempsey, Young Children's Classification, Stereotyping and Play Behavior for Gender-Neutral and Ambiguous Toys. A nationally representative, editors of GQ, What 1147 Men Think About #MeToo, a Glamour X GQ survey, GQ, May 30, 2018. Read your son the powerful, Katie J. M. Baker, here's the powerful letter the Stanford victim read to her attacker, BuzzFeed News, June 3, 2016. Or the eloquent response, Kelsey Clayman, Brooke Dickens, Alika Keene, et al., Stronger Together, Harvard Crimson, October 29, 2016. Have your sons and daughters, Dan Harmon, don't let him wipe or flush, Harmontown. The apology starts just past the 19-minute mark. See also Nancy Updike. Finally, This American Life, National Public Radio, May 10, 2019. The ones in the videos are paid. Jill Bauer and Rana Gradas, Hot Girls Wanted, Netflix, 2015. But in a cross-cultural comparison, Shalit, Not Under My Roof. Their children begin formal, Ibid. See also Orenstein, Girls and Sex, Saskia Demelker, The Case for Starting Sex Education in Kindergarten, PBS NewsHour, May 27, 2015. The Results, Even When, Brugman, Karen, and Raidmakers, Emerging Adolescent Sexuality, Shalit, Not Under My Roof. 4 out of 5, Brugman, Karen, and Raidmakers, Emerging Adolescent Sexuality. Compare that to Bill Albert, with One Voice 2012, America's Adults and Teens Sound Off About Teen Pregnancy, Washington, D.C., The National Campaign to Prevent Teen and Unplanned Pregnancy, 2012. But pay attention to the tenor of Sunday, rape-prone versus rape-free campus cultures. Boys who are thinking of joining, 2 essential reads, Caitlin Flanagan, The Dark Power of Fraternities, The Atlantic, March 2014, Armstrong and Sweeney, Sexual Assault on Campus. These are not trivial concerns. John Faubert, Rapabate, Email Reveals Dark Side of Frat Culture, CNN, October 9, 2013. See also Seabrook, Ward, and Jaccardi, Why is Fraternity Membership Associated with Sexual Assault? Martinez, Wiersma Mosley, Joachowski, et al., Good Guys Don't Rape, Seabrook and Ward, Bros Will Be Bros, Mellons, Walsh, Sarvat, et al., Sexual Assault Incidents Among College Undergraduates. What does seem to be true, though, Seabrook, Ward, and Jaccardi, Why is Fraternity Membership Associated with Sexual Assault? Seabrook and Ward, Bros Will Be Bros. Athletes, too, as noted earlier, Paula Levine, OTL, college athletes 3 times more likely to be named in Title X sexual misconduct complaints, Lisa Wade, Rape on Campus, Athletes, Status, and the Sexual Assault Crisis, The Conversation, March 6, 2017. Official players are not Jake New, Sexual Coercion Among Athletes, Inside Higher Ed, June 3, 2016. Teams that celebrate, see Sunday, rape-prone versus rape-free campus cultures. Athletes, who tend to hold, Lisa Wade, Rape on Campus, Jake New, The Black Hole of College Sports, Inside Higher Ed, February 9, 2017, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Colleges Need to Stop Protecting Sexual Predators, January 31, 2015, Time, College Athletic Department's Role in Investigating Sexual Assaults, Athletic Business, April 2015. See also Nancy Armour, Opinion, NCAA continues to drop the ball by accepting athletes punished for sexual assault, USA Today, April 4, 2019, Bernard Lefkowitz, Our Guys, New York, Vintage, 1998. Consider a year-long study, Miller, Tancredi, Macaulay, et al., Coaching Boys into Men. See also Futures Without Violence, Coaching Boys into Men. Index. The pagination of this digital edition does not match the print edition from which the index was created. To locate a specific entry, please use your e-book reader's search tools. AAU Campus Climate Survey, 169. Abstinence-only education, 199, 220. Abuse. Physical, 101. Sexual, 191-93. Access Hollywood Bust Trump comments on 27-28. Accountability. African American Perspective on 162-63. For sexual assault 197-99, 211-18. Adam on Masculinity 25-26. Adult Swim 61-66. Affirmative Consent 169-71, 222-23. African Americans. As Cool 140-42. Fraternities of 162-63. Higher Education Experiences of 135-38, 158-63. Hookups of 142-44, 155-58, 162-64. Masculinity of 140-42. Sexism Against, 67. Sexual Assault and 143-44, 152-56. Sexual Racism Against, 149-51. Social Integration of 138-40. Aggression. Boys of Color and 143-44. As Masculine Trait 10-13, 22. Parent Talks on 234-37. Porn and 49, 57, 59-61. Sexual Assault and 177-78, 187-88. In Talk About Sex 28-29. Aiden, on experiences boy of color, 140 to 41, 155 to 56. AIDS, 106, 108, 226. Allen, on unwanted sex, 191. Alcohol. African American consumption of 162. Consent misreading and 172 to 73. In hookup culture, 78 to 79, 145 to 47. Sexual assault and 78 to 79, 172 to 73. Amherst sexism scandal at 30. Anal sex. Among gay guys, 120 to 22, 226. Coercion and 171. Gay porn portrayal of 109. As not sex, 226. Porn influence on 48, 56 to 57. Andrew, on hookups, 78, 88. Angels in America Kushner, 106. Anger. As masculine emotion, 12, 15 to 16, 22. After sexual assault, 187 to 88. Insari, Aziz, 175. Anwin, on restorative justice for sexual assault, 199 to 211, 214 to 18. Armstrong, Elizabeth, 136 to 37. Arousal non-concordance, 57 to 59. Asian Americans. Hookups of 144 to 49, 164. Sexual racism against 148 to 52. AskMen.com, unacceptable crying 18 to 19. Athletes. Assault perpetration by 29, 235. Masculinity of 7 to 9, 19 to 22. Sexism among 29 to 31, 112 to 13, 118 to 19, 234 to 37. Tears shed by 18 to 19. Athleticism 10 to 11. Athletics. See sports. Audrey and Daisy 33. Barebacking 109. Bathroom bills 114. Bedera, Nicole 170 to 72, 176. Berkeley, sexism scandal in 31. Big Sick the 148. Billions 64. Binge drinking 78 to 79, 145 to 47. Bisexualism 106. Bitch. Emotional expression is quality of 12. Use of term 2237. Black guys. See African Americans. Body discomfort 114 to 16. Body image 49 to 51. Boy code 1324. Boys. Expectations of 1 to 2. Girl views of 11. Interview experiences with 3 to 6. Porn portrayal of 43. Traits of ideal, 9 to 12. Boys of color. Fraternities of 162 to 63. Higher education experiences of 135 to 38, 158 to 63. Hookups of 142 to 50, 155 to 58, 162 to 64. Masculinity of 140 to 42, 149 to 52. Sexual assault and 143 to 44, 152 to 56. Sexual racism against 148 to 52. Social integration of 138 to 40. Brandon, on consent and sexual assault 176 to 77. Breakups 101 to 2. Bro culture 7 to 9, 20 to 22, 234 to 37. Brown, Renee 16. Brown, Chris 141. Buttigieg, Pete 107. Caleb, on hookups 89 to 92. Californication 65. Casual sex. See hookups. Centers for Disease Control 220. Chance the Rapper 155. Chen, Nicole 149. Chu, Judy Y 16. Sirioni, Frank, 211, 213-14, 216. Cis, Concept of 133. Climax. See Orgasm. CM Punk, 27. Coaches, 20-21, 236-37. Cole. On Masculinity, 7-9, 14-15, 21-22, 34-37. On Porn, 45. Coleman, Daisy, 33. College Experience, Views on 136-37. Columbia University. Sexism Scandal at 29. Sexual Health Initiative to Foster Transformation, Shift, 185, 193. Coming Out. Average age of 107. As gay, 109-10. As transgender, 114. Communication. See also Talk About Sex. In Hookups, 75, 89-92. Compulsion Porn is 52. Compulsory Carelessness of Hookups, 78. Confidence, 166. Connection. See Emotional Connection. Consent. Affirmative, 169-71, 222-23. As bare minimum, 100. Boys as grantors of 183-96, 223-24. Debates on 168-69. Encounters at edges of 175-76. Among gay guys, 120-22. In Hookups, 94-95, 100, 165-68, 176-80. Parent Talks on 180-82, 222-24. Sex Education Coverage of 220. Signals Mistaken is 171-73. Transgender Perspective on 117-18. Uncertainty about 165-68, 176-78. Control, 154-55. Cook, Tim, 107. Cosby, Bill, 155. Cox, Laverne, 114. Cross-racial dating, 148-49. Crying, 12, 18-19. Daniel, on porn, 55-57. Dating apps, 122-27. Dennison, Karis, 34, 236. Devon, on transgender experience, 112-19, 128-33. DeVos, Betsy, 199. Dick Pick, 123. Dick School, 34. Parent Talks on 234-37. Dietrich, Savannah, 33. Dill Shackleford, Karen, 46-47. DMs, After Hookups, 92. Dominance. As Ideal Guy Trait, 10-11. Porn Influence on 49. Dylan, on Unwanted Sex, 183-84, 186-88, 194-96. Education. See Sex Education. Ellie, on Hookups, 89-92. Elliot, on Gay Experience, 123-24. Ely, on Masculinity, 12. Eminem, 194. Emmett, on Experiences Boy of Color, 136-37, 142-43, 159-64. Emotional Connection, 15-24. In Hookups, 93-104, 127-28. In Relationships, 99-104. Emotional Expression. After Hookups, 91. Ideal Guy, 9-11. Infant Boy, 15-16. Masculinity Constraints on 11-19, 31-37. Parent Expectations of 15-16, 228-32. After Sexual Assault, 187-88, 193-94. Erections, Porn Influence on 51, 56-57, 69-70. Eric, on Masculinity, 20. Ethan, on Masculinity, 20-21. Ethical sex, 224-25. Expulsions, of boys of color, 152-55. Fag, use of term, 22-27-36. Fake orgasm, 189. Family Guy, 61. Fantasy Slut League, Piedmont, 30. Fathers. See also Parents. Consent guidance from 180-82. Emotional expression expectations of 15-16. Masculinity messages from 11-12, 14-16, 228-32. Federer, Roger, 19. Feelings. See also Emotional expression. In Hookups, 93-104, 127-28. In Relationships, 99-104. Female Masculinity, 131. Female to Male Transition, 116. Femininity, Masculinity is opposite of 13-14. Feminism, 13. Fetish videos, 52, 54-55. 50 Shades of Grey, 58. Fitness Gurus, 40. Ford, Christine Blasey, 231. Ford, Jesse, 188-90, 193. Fraternities. Assault by members of 145, 174, 185, 198, 214, 235. Black, 162-63. Hookups in 77, 147. Parent Talks on 234-37. Racism in 159-61. Sexism in 2130, 161, 162, 178-79. Freaky Friday, Lil Dicky, 141. Gangsta Pimp Ho Trinity, 67. Gay, use of term 23-27, 120. Gay Guys. Acceptance of 111-12. Broadened view of sex for 226. Challenges faced by 108. Coming out experience for 109-10. Consent among 120-22. Current attitudes toward 106-8. Dating app use by 122-27. Hookups among 105, 120-28. Masculinity of 25-27. Porn use by 108-9. Sex talk with 125, 226. Sexual assault of 126-27. Support of 23, 110-11. Terminology used by 120. Gendered racism, 150. Gender identity. See also Transgender guys. Current attitudes toward 106-8. Question of 133. Gender socialization 15-16, 214, 219. Genitalia. First glimpse of 44-45. Porn influence on 51. Genital response 57-59. Gen Z LGBTQ+ 107. Get Out 148. Girlfriends. Boys descriptions of 100. Emotional expression with 16-17. Girliness 13-14. Girls. Emotional expression is acting like 12. Media sexualization of 62-64. Porn portrayal of 43, 55, 61-64. Satisfaction of 80-81, 88. Views about 11. Glamour 231. Golden Dick Syndrome 93. Gonorrhea 108. Good Guys sexual assault by 173-80. Good sex definition of 224. Gossip 87-88. GQ. Unacceptable crying 18. Hashtag MeToo survey 231. Greek life. See fraternities. Green Dot 207-8. Grinder 123-27. Halberstam, Jack 131-33. Hamilton, Laura T., 136-37. Hand-holding, 99. Harmon, Dan, 66, 231. Harvard Scouting Report Scandal, 29, 231. Harvey, Steve, 150. Herman, Judith Lewis, 212. Higher education. See also fraternities. Boys of Color in 135-38, 158-63. Sexual assault in 168-69. Hilarious 47, 61. Unwanted sex is 193. Use of term 32-34. Hip hop 66-68. Hirsch, Jennifer, 185, 193. HIV, 106, 108, 226. Hollander, Jocelyn, 174. Homophobia, 21. Hookups, 73-74. Of African Americans, 142-44, 155-58, 162-64. Alcohol in, 78-79, 145-47. Of Asian Americans, 144-49, 164. Awkwardness during, 78. Communication in, 75, 89-92. Confidence in, 166. Consent in, 94-95, 100, 165-68, 176-80. Definition of 76. Gay, 105, 120-28. Intercourse in, 76-77. Of Latinx guys, 150. Lessons taken from, 102. Masculinity in, 79-80, 83, 128-29. Objectification of women in, 79-80, 100. Orgasms in, 80-81, 88. Reputation and, 82-88. Respect and love in, 93-104. Sexual conquest in, 93-94. Sexual satisfaction in, 80-81, 88, 90, 100. Texts after, 89-92. Transgender guys in, 128-30. Wins and losses in, 84-86. Hormone therapy, 116. Huang, Eddie, 151. Huggy, Matthew, 161. Humor, sexist, 31-34. Hutch, on transgender experience, 117-18, 131. I am Jazz, 114. Ideal Guy, 9-12. Impact Statement, 213-14, 231. Infant Boys, 15-16. Intercourse. In Hookups, 76-77. Rates of 50-76. Internet porn availability on, 41-45, 59. Intimacy. African American perspective on, 162, 164. In Hookups, 83, 93-104, 127-28. Parent Talks on, 180-82, 224-25, 228-32. In Relationships, 99-104. After Sexual Assault, 193-94. It Gets Better Project, 121. Jackson, Michael, 192. J.Z., 67. Jenner, Caitlin, 114. Jung, Ken, 151. Jock Culture, 7-9, 19-22, 234-37. Jokes. Sexist, 31-34. Unwanted Sex is, 193. Josh, on Masculinity, 19-20. Karp, David, 212-13. Kavanaugh, Brett, 213, 231. Kevin, on Porn, 50. Kimmel, Michael, 141. Hashtag Kindergrinder, 123. King, Rodney, 138. Kingsman, 56. Kushner, Tony, 106. Lad Magazines, 63-64. Latinx Guys, 150. Leanne, on Hookups, 89-92. Leo, on Unwanted Sex, 188-91. Lep, Stephanie, 199. Lesbian Porn, 108. LGBTQ+. See also Gay Guys, Transgender Guys. Acceptance of 111-12. Challenges faced by 108. Current attitudes toward 106-8. Numbers of 107. Parental discussion of 109-11, 114, 116, 226. Porn use by 108-9. Support of 23, 110-11. Liam, on consent and sexual assault, 165-69, 174, 180-82, 194. Lil Dicky, 141. Lipsight Robert, 21. Locker Room Banter, 8-9, 20-22. Sexual Conquest in, 27-29. Transgender Perspective on, 112-13, 118-19. Losses, in Hookups, 84-86. Louis C. K., 175. Love. In Hookups, 93-104. Parent Talks on, 224-25. In Relationships, 99-104. Luke, on Masculinity, 26-27. Magazines, Sexism in, 63-64. Making Caring Common, 181-82, 225. Man Box, 13, 23, 228. Marshall, Kendall, 27. Masculinity. Aggression and, 10-13, 22. Of Boys of Color, 140-42, 149-52. Bro Culture and, 7-9, 19-22, 234-37. Emotional Expression Constraints of, 11-19, 31-37. Fag Use in, 22-27, 36. Of Gay Guys, 25-27. In Hookup Culture, 79-80, 83, 128-29. Ideal Traits of, 9-12. As Opposite of Femininity, 13-14. Parent Talks on, 11-12, 14-16, 228-32. Power of Traditional Conception of, 13. In Reactions to Unwanted Sex, 190-94. Sexism in, 27-34. Sexual Conquest is, 10-11, 13, 27-34. Sexual Performance in, 88. Silence in, 34-37, 236-37. Toxic 2, 13, 19, 27, 129, 228-32. Transgender Perspective on, 117-19, 128-32. Mason. First Impression of, 39-41. On Porn, 52-55, 65, 68-71. Masturbation, 42. Parent Talks on, 232-33. Porn Tie to, 44-45. In Range of Contexts, 58-59, 232-33. Restraint from, 52. Mateo, on Masculinity, 25-28. Mathis, Dara, 68. Mauricio, on Experiences Boy of Color, 150. Mean Girls, 219. Media. Rape in, 64. Sexism in, 61-66. Mellons, Claude N., 185-86. Hashtag MeToo, 67, 231, 237. Millennials. Internet use by 41. LGBTQ+, 107. Rates of intercourse among, 50, 76. Miller, Chanel, 231. MindGeek, 43. Mindy Project, The, 48. Misogyny. In Hip Hop, 67-68. Parental talk about 227 to 28. Parent talks on 180 to 82. Racism coexistence with 161. Transgender perspective on 112 to 13, 117 to 19. Mitchell, on porn 45-51. Modern family 65. Mothers. See also parents. Of boys committing assault 198 to 99. Emotional expression with 15 to 18. Talking about intimacy 230. Nagoski, Emily 57 to 59, 232. Nas 67. Nasser, Larry 192. Nate, on Hookups 81 to 88, 101 to 4. Netherlands. Attitudes toward teen sexuality in 97 to 98. Sex education in 233 to 34. Nick, on consent and sexual assault 178 to 79. Noah. On masculinity 15-20. On talking with parents 229 to 30. Noah, Trevor 27. No Fap movement 52. Hashtag NoHomo 24. Non-concordance 57 to 59. Non-consensual sex. See rape. Obama administration 168. Objectification of women. See sexism. Online college social life survey 77-80. Oral sex 51, 76, 121, 143, 172 to 75. Orgasm. Fake 189. In Hookups 80 to 81, 88. Porn influence on 56 to 57. Parents. See also talk about sex. Of boys committing assault 198 to 99. Coming out to 109 to 10, 114. Consent guidance from 180 to 82, 222 to 24. Emotional expression expectations of 15 to 16. Masculinity messages from 11 to 12, 14 to 16, 228 to 32. Porn use in 43 to 44, 52 to 54. Pasco, C.J. 23 to 24, 174. Paul, Bryant 60 to 61. Paying for the Party, Armstrong and Hamilton 137. Keel, Jordan 148. Penis porn and 51. Performance. In Hookups 87 to 88. Porn influence on 51 to 52. Physical abuse 101. Physical appearance 911. Piedmont Fantasy Slut League 30. Pi Kappa Phi 161. Pleasure. For both partners 125, 143, 176. In Hookups 80 to 81, 88, 90, 100. Male prioritization of 175 to 76. Porn reduction of 49 to 50. In relationships 99 to 101. Pollock, William 13. Porn. Access to 41 to 45, 59. Aggression and 49, 57, 59 to 61. Is compulsion 52. Definition of 42. Desensitization by 59. First exposure to 44 to 45, 48 to 49. Gay 108 to 9. Genital response and 57 to 59. Masturbation tied to 44 to 45. Parent talks on 232 to 33. Prevalence of 43 to 44. Rape in 49, 62. Reality compared with 43, 46 to 52, 68 to 71, 109. Rejection of 45 to 46. Sexism in 49, 52 to 55, 61. Transgender perspective on 129 to 30. Unconscious influences of 46 to 52, 56 to 57, 68 to 71. Pornhub 42 to 43, 45, 109. Power, sexual conquest is 28 to 29. Precocious sexuality, 47 to 48. PrEP, 226. Priming theory, 61. Protection, 226. Pussy. Emotional expression is quality of 14. Use of term, 2237. Queer, use of term, 107, 120. Race. See boys of color. Racism. In higher education, 159 to 62. Sexual, 148 to 52. Rape. Affirmative consent standard for 169 to 71, 222 to 23. Alcohol consumption and 78 to 79. Boys of color and 154 to 56. By good guys, 173 to 80. Hilarious as defense of 32 to 33. Media portrayal of 64. Misconceptions of 169. Non-concordance in 58. Porn in 49, 62. Racism coexistence with 161. Rationalizations of 171. Report of 198. Transgender perspective on 117 to 18. Reality, porn compared with 43, 46 to 52, 68 to 71, 109. Relationships. African American perspective of 162, 164. Hookups and 77. Love, respect, and sex and 99 to 104. Parent talks on 224 to 25. After sexual assault 193 to 94. Vulnerability in 16. Reputation 82 to 88. Respect. African American perspective on 162. In Hookups 93 to 104. Parent talks on 180 to 82. In Relationships 99 to 104. Responsibility 197 to 99, 211 to 18. Restorative Justice (RJ) for sexual assault 197 to 218. Reza. On consent and sexual assault 177 to 78. On porn 50. Rick and Morty 66. RJ. See Restorative Justice. R. Kelly 155. Rob, on Masculinity 12, 16 to 19, 23 to 24. Roof, Dylan 154. Rose, Trisha 67. Rule number 3442. Samir, on Restorative Justice for Sexual Assault 199 to 211, 214 to 18. Same-sex marriage 107. Savage, Dan 121, 124. Shallot, Amy 98, 226, 233. Scouting Report Scandal, Harvard 29, 231. Sex. See also Hookups. Curiosity about 42. Definition of 121, 225 to 26. Disappointment in 77 to 78. Porn influence on 47 to 51, 56 to 57, 68 to 71. Transgender experience of 114 to 15, 131 to 33. Sex education. Abstinence only 199, 220. Curricula for 108. Insufficiency of 219 to 21. In Netherlands 233 to 34. Porn use for 43. Sexism. African Americans and 162. Among athletes 29 to 31, 112 to 13, 118 to 19, 234 to 37. In hip hop 66 to 68. Hookup culture and 79 to 80, 100. Masculinity and 27 to 34. In media 61 to 66. Parent talks on 180 to 82, 227 to 28. Porn and 49, 52 to 55, 61. Transgender perspective on 112 to 13, 117 to 19, 128 to 29. In video games, 66. Sex talk. See talk about sex. Sexual abuse, 191 to 93. Sexual assault. Affirmative consent standard for 169 to 71, 222 to 23. Alcohol and 78 to 79, 172 to 73. Boys as victims of 183 to 96, 223 to 24. Boys of color and 143 to 44, 152 to 56. Boys reactions to 187 to 89, 187 to 96. Dear colleague, letter on 168. Among gay guys, 126 to 27. By good guys, 173 to 80. Hilarious, as defense of 32 to 34. Media portrayal of 64. Parent talks on 180 to 82, 228 to 32, 234 to 37. Pervasiveness of 1 to 2. Porn influence on 62. Racism coexistence with 161. Rates of 168 to 69. Rationalizations of 171. Report of 198. Restorative justice for 197 to 218. Transgender perspective on 117 to 18. Uncertainty about consent in 165 to 68, 176 to 78. Sexual conquest. In Hookups, 93 to 94. In Jock Culture, 21. Masculinity and 10 to 11, 13, 27 to 34. Sexual harassment. Hilarious, as defense of 32 to 33. Parent talks on 180 to 82, 228 to 32. Traditional conception of masculinity and 13. Sexual health initiative to foster transformation, shift 185 to 86, 193. Sexuality. Acceptance of 111 to 12. Current attitudes toward 106 to 8. Question of 133. Sexually transmitted disease 106, 108, 226. Sexual performance. See performance. Sexual pleasure. See pleasure. Sexual racism 148 to 52. Sexual response porn and 57 to 59. Shavershian, Aziz 40. Shift. See Sexual Health Initiative to Foster Transformation. Sigma Alpha Epsilon 160 to 61. Silence, Masculinity Rules for 34 to 37, 236 to 37. Silicon Valley, 64. Silicon Valley High School's Sexism Scandal in 30 to 31. Sleepovers, 233 to 34. Smartphone, porn access on 41 to 43. Smiler, Andrew 225, 227. Snapchats, after hookups, 92. Sober monitors, 144. Social control, 154 to 55. Social integration, 138 to 40. Socialization, gender, 15 to 16, 214, 219. Spacey, Kevin, 192. Spencer, on experience as boy of color, 144 to 52, 164. Sports. Jock culture of 7 to 9, 19 to 22, 234 to 37. Tears shed in 18 to 19. Straight concept of 133. Submissiveness, 48 to 49. Surviving R. Kelly, 155. Swarthmore sexism scandal 30. Swipe apps, 122 to 27. Synthel, 40. Syphilis, 108. Taboo. Porn portrayal of 60. Response to 58. Talk about sex, 2, 125. Broadened views, 225 to 26. Bro culture 234-37. Consent 180-82, 222-24. Ethical sex 224-25. Masculinity 228-32. Need for 219-22. Porn 232-33. Sexism 227-28. Sleepovers 233-34. The talk compared with 222. Teenager desire for 221-22. Tears 18-19. Tebow, Tim 19. Texting after hookups 89-92. Theo, on consent and sexual assault 179-80. Theta Tau 161. Thompson, Michael 34. Thoughts of Berkeley High 31. Till, Emmett 154. Title X 168. Toxic Masculinity 2, 13, 19, 27, 129, 228-32. Trans concept of 133. Transgender guys. Body discomfort and 114-16. Coming out experience for 114. Experience of sex is 114-15, 131-33. Hookups of 128-30. Masculinity from perspective of 117-19, 128-32. Sexism from perspective of 112-13, 117-19, 128-29. Support for 114. Transparent 114. Trump, Donald 27-28, 191. Turner, Brock 75, 174-75, 231. Tyndall, George 192. Unwanted sex. See also rape, sexual assault. Boys as victims of 183-96, 223-24. Boys reactions to 187-96. Vagina, first glimpse of 44-45. Vegan gains, 40. Video games, 66. Violence. Boys as victims of 184-86. In Talk About Sex, 28-29. Traditional conception of masculinity and 13. Virginity, loss of 70, 120, 146-47, 183-84, 188, 195. Vulnerability. In Hookups, 91, 97-98, 102, 128. Masculinity constraints on 12, 14-15, 19. In Sex, 71. Wade, Lisa, 77-78, 80, 90-91, 102. Wealth as ideal guy trait 10-11. Weinstein, Harvey, 169, 231. Weisbord, Richard, 181-82, 225. West, Kanye, 67-68, 93. Wins, in Hookups, 84-85. Wolf of Wall Street, The 64. Wong, Y. Joel, 149-50. Wright, Paul, 48-49. Wyatt. On Affirmative Consent, 170. On Hookups, 93-97, 99-104. Xavier, on Experiences Boy of Color, 136-42, 152-61. Young, Frank, 40. Zachary, on Sexual Consent, 170. Zaloom, Shafia, 224. Zane, on Gay Experience, 105, 109-12, 119-28. About the author. Peggy Orenstein is the New York Times best-selling author of Don't Call Me Princess, Girls and Sex, Cinderella 8 My Daughter, Waiting for Daisy, Flux, and Schoolgirls. A contributing writer for the New York Times Magazine and Afar, she has also been published in New York, The Atlantic, The New Yorker, and other publications. Her TED Talk has received over 4 million views. She lives in Northern California with her husband and daughter. Discover great authors, exclusive offers, and more at hc.com. Also by Peggy Orenstein. Don't Call Me Princess, Essays on Girls, Women, Sex, and Life. Girls and Sex, Navigating the Complicated New Landscape. Cinderella 8 My Daughter, Dispatches from the Front Lines of the New Girly Girl Culture. Waiting for Daisy, A Tale of Two Continents, Three Religions, Five Infertility Doctors, An Oscar, An Atomic Bomb, A Romantic Night, and One Woman's Quest to Become a Mother. Flux, Women on Sex, Work, Love, Kids, and Life in a Half-Changed World. Schoolgirls, Young Women, Self-Esteem, and the Confidence Gap. Copyright. The names and identifying characteristics of certain individuals have been changed to protect their privacy. Boys and Sex. Copyright 2020 by Peggy Orenstein. All rights reserved under international and Pan-American copyright conventions. By payment of the required fees, you have been granted the non-exclusive, non-transferable right to access and read the text of this e-book on screen. No part of this text may be reproduced, transmitted, downloaded, decompiled, reverse-engineered, or stored in or introduced into any information storage and retrieval system, in any form or by any means, whether electronic or mechanical, now known or hereafter invented, without the express written permission of HarperCollins e-books. Cover design by Sarah Bible. First edition. Library of Congress Cataloging and Publication Data. Names, Orenstein, Peggy, author. Title, Boys and Sex, Young Men on Hookups, Love, Porn, Consent, and Navigating the New Masculinity, Peggy Orenstein. Other titles, Boys and Sex. Description, First edition. New York, Harper, an imprint of HarperCollins Publishers, 2020, includes bibliographical references and index. Identifiers, LCCN 201940572, print, LCCN 201940573, ebook, ISBN 9780662666970, ISBN 9780662666994, ebook. Subjects, LCSH, Teenage Boys Sexual Behavior United States. Teenage Boys United States Attitudes. Young Men Sexual Behavior United States. Classification, LCCH Q27.3. 074 2020, print, LCCH Q27.3, ebook, DDC 305.235, 10973, DC 23. LC record available at. LC ebook record available at. Digital edition January 2020 ISBN 978-0-06-2666994. Version 11212019. Print ISBN 978-0-06-2666970. About the publisher. Australia. HarperCollins Publishers Australia Thai. Limited. Level 13, 201 Elizabeth Street. Sydney, NSW 2000, Australia. Canada. HarperCollins Publishers Limited. Bay Adelaide Centre, East Tower. 22 Adelaide Street West, 41st floor. Toronto, Ontario, M5H4E3. India. HarperCollins India. A75, Sector 57. Noida. Uttar Pradesh 201301. New Zealand. HarperCollins Publishers New Zealand. Unit D1, 63 Apollo Drive. Rosedale 0632. Auckland, New Zealand. United Kingdom. HarperCollins Publishers Limited. 1 London Bridge Street. London SE19GF, UK. United States. HarperCollins Publishers Inc. 195 Broadway. New York, NY10007.